It's time for Twig This Week in Google. It's practically a real-time list of coronavirus cancellations. We'll talk about what Google's doing to help people who have to work at home, including every single one of Google's North American employees. We'll also talk about some fun new products, including a sous chef on my counter and the latest Chromecast Ultra. Plus, we've got a price for the Pixel 4a. It's all coming up next on This Week in Google. This Week in Google comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. Stay in control when it comes to your company's access points and authentication. LastPass makes enterprise-level security simple. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 550, recorded Wednesday, March 11th, 2020. Fruit of the Poisoned Tree. This Week in Google is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Hiring is challenging, but there's one place you can go where hiring is simple and smart. This place, ZipRecruiter, where growing businesses connect to qualified candidates. Try it free at ziprecruiter.com/twig. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacy sneaks one last bite of lunch. So I'll go on the other side. I'll introduce Jeff Jarvis first. Jeff is...
So Ann could take one more bite of pie.
Yeah. You and I are the only guys not eating. So,
Wait a minute. What
Jeff Jarvis, this would be a good time to read his entire title. The lettered tile professor for journalistic innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism.
I'm going to use this to scratch my nose.
The director of the Towdite Center for the Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the closed City University of New York. They announced its closure today, yes?
Well, and we're going to go virtual. Not till next Wednesday was the state's announcement, but then the City University said, no, we're going on leave until next Wednesday to get all ready. But yeah, we're going virtual. My wife's going to be very sick of me.
It's problematic, not so much because the professors have to go home, but the kids have to go home too.
It's rough for a lot of them, So that's some of these schools are keeping their dorms and facilities open, and some people will say, "Well, why? That's just to keep the professors safe." Well, no, because some of these students don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and I mean, the young people are not likely to have severe symptoms. In fact, the real problem is they may be asymptomatic, go home and infect their family and friends in towns. So maybe that's what Harvard sent everybody home. Stanford's keeping everybody in the dorms. They're keeping the dining halls open. And I guess the idea is, well, we'll contain it. And it's true. You wouldn't want to send kids home who are, have the virus. So it's an interesting issue. I have a friend whose son is at Yale. She said, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get them so confused.
He's home. Yale and Harvard both doing classes virtually.
Yeah, all Harvard students are required to be out of the dorms by this Sunday.
See, that's problematic. Some kids, are lower income. They don't have somewhere to go. Their parents may not be ready to welcome them home.
They may be Italian.
They could be Italian. Oh, you mean from Italy?
Yeah.
Not Italian Americans. They could be Italian Americans. No, they could be from Italy. They can't go home.
Yeah.
And you had enough pie?
What pie?
I'll introduce you now. Ant Pruitt celebrating his birthday with a birthday pie, which the old habits die hard. Handshaking, I find it really hard not to shake people's hand. It's very hard if presented with a pie with candles on it not to blow them out.
Well, that was on purpose. Who said I was sharing pie?
Oh, you're going to eat the whole thing.
I have seen Ant eat an entire half of a pecan pie when I was there.
Real.
What was it? The week I was there. Yeah, there was leftover pecan pie.
Yeah, I did.
I was going to get a slice of it, but I came back and
it was gone.
You were just a tad slow, Miss Stacy.
I know, and I didn't claim it. I feel that if I had said, "Aunt, save me a piece of pie," it would have
I'd have had you back, definitely.
I just didn't
if
think
anyone would have saved a piece of pie, Aunt would have. Yes.
That is the wonderful Stacey Higginbotham from StaceyOnIoT.com and her great podcast with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast. We were thinking...
So, Stacey, quick question. Last week, we were all in suspense as to whether or not you were going to do a public event that night. Did you end up doing it or no?
Oh, I did. It was actually the next day, and I went to Seattle, and I gave my talk in front of a crowd of 250 people.
What?
They were supposed to be 400 something odd people, but
Wow, you're
some didn't show up.
brave.
Well, I was on stage.
Yeah. I bet
was not the
you
brave
couldn't do that today.
No, because Seattle just said that we
Yeah.
can't have any more than 250 people together in a place.
Yeah. Marin just announced our county just to the south of us, 100 people. Yeah, this is, but all of this, some people are saying, well, this is overreaction. It's being sensationalized. But and you know what? With any luck, in a few months, it'll seem like crazy. We closed all that stuff. With any luck, it'll be the right thing to do, and everybody will be fine.
Anthony Fauci today testified that this virus is at least 10 times as fatal as flu.
He
Yikes.
also
And
testified
as of right now,
that
it's 30 times.
Yikes.
But he thinks it'll go down.
he also testified that the mortality rate was only 1%, which is
That's
different
10
than the
times.
WHO.
Well, so what
no.
he said was it's running about 3% now. He thinks when we finally get testing in, it's going to reduce. Though in Italy, it's 5%.
Right.
Yeah,
or
that's
more than
I
3%.
was like, without adequate testing,
So how does he know? But he was trying to make a point. He should have expressed it differently, I think. He was trying to make a point that even if you come down to kind of a lowest case,
It's still worse
it's
than
still
the flu.
10 times
And of course,
more.
Yeah.
there's no immunity
fatal
because
than-
it's a novel virus, and there's no
Right.
vaccine, so people are vulnerable. The really the phrase I really like, and I'm seeing it on Twitter and other places, is flatten the curve. Zeynep Tufekci wrote a great blog post in Scientific American explaining why that's really what we're all about here. The coronavirus curve, or any epidemic. I am a member. I just haven't logged in. Let me quickly log into the New York Times so that I can show you an example of this curve. The idea is that there is a curve if it gets, and by the way, the WHO today declared it's a pandemic. There's a curve. The dotted line is the number of cases, the y-axis number of cases. The dotted line is the capacity of our healthcare system. And without protective measures, the number of cases can go above our ability to handle it. That's what's happening in Italy right now with not enough hospital beds, not enough ventilators. With protective measures, if people do their best to wash their hands, stay healthy, not congregate, social distancing, self-quarantine, you can keep that curve below the line on our health system. Notice, by the way, with protective measures, that doesn't mean fewer cases.
Right.
It spreads the cases out. It flattens the curve. And this is from the CDC and Zeynep's excellent article in the Scientific
It's a great
American
illustration.
blog. It explains
a lot of doctors have been using that illustration. You see it kind of all over there. So it's quite standard in the field, which means they all believe it, and it's important to understand it.
Yeah. And so that's, and I think it's important to say it also because I think it helps people understand what we're about. We're not, what we're trying to do is take care of people like Jeff, the oldest, most vulnerable members of our society.
and not people like you, the young whippersnappers. Right.
I'm in the same box as Jeff. But think of your parents. My mom and dad are 86.
Right.
And it would almost certainly be fatal for them. The fatality rate is very high for people in their age bracket. So I want to protect them. That's what we're up to.
Yeah. Some Florida old folks' homes are now prohibiting visitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're a kid, don't even think about it.
So I'm not going to make this show, by the way, be a coronavirus show. We're going to get this out of our systems and go on. But there are some reporting to do. NAB has been canceled now, the National Association of Broadcasters.
Oh,
It finally got.
Very big show in Las Vegas.
I didn't see that.
So has E3, the big. That, by the way, NAB's in April, so they're looking ahead. This is, by the way, huge economic problem. South by in your old town, Stacy, canceled, and that means hotels, restaurants.
Means their
merchants.
employees, which is the worst of it.
Right, their
Those businesses will
employees,
suffer, and then their employees, as a consequence, will not get paid.
Yeah.
It is a cascade. Go ahead, Stacy.
No, I was going to say South by, the organization that puts it on laid off a third of their workers, and they're contemplating bankruptcy because they can't.
They said their insurance
take the
doesn't
loss.
cover.
Oh man.
Well, that's one of the things that, and here I am running a small business, and we're also on the edge. As a small business owner, I understand that. By the way, this is not to add to your anxiety, Stacey.
Oh,
It's
no,
going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You knew he was going to be a jerk.
But many small businesses, including ours, don't have a lot of cushion.
Right.
Nobody builds their business so that they could have no business for 3 months and then just spring back in action.
No.
So and there's a cascade effect from all of that. The NBA and the NCAA have announced that their basketball games will have no attendees.
Mm-hmm.
The March Madness will have nobody in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be eerily quiet. Isn't that going to be just strangely quiet?
It's like watching a practice.
That's a lot of people out of work. That's the concession workers. That's security.
Yep.
That's a lot of people who won't be working.
Yeah.
So the other thing we want to do, and this sounds self-serving, but I mean it in the best way. When you're home, you listen to more podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are ways you can stay in touch. I think
Stay informed.
now is a good time to think about how you could perform your job at home. Certainly we are as a business, but I think, and to that goal, Google's announced that they're going to offer their business level Hangouts for free for the next, at least through April.
For education, they increased it markedly.
250 people.
We went to 250 plus recording, which we didn't have before in our account at the school.
That's awesome.
I think Microsoft's doing this with Teams. Everybody's doing that. It's, and it is. I'm the cynic and I say, oh, yeah, capitalism at work because they're figuring, well, we're going to get some new business this way. But it's also the right thing to do. Is to give.
Let me say this. Just for my little defending the internet hat for a moment. We go from moral panic to viral panic. Imagine, because this germ is just this germ. This germ can happen whenever, right? So it just happens. Sure. Imagine everything we're going through right now if you were going through this with no internet.
Yeah, thank goodness.
No Google, no Twitter, no Facebook,
no that's a very good
Amazon.
point. That is something to thank goodness.
Yes. I read somebody I like last week, and I haven't written a response to this yet, trying to say the internet's broken, we have to fix it, and I just get, and the internet's doing more harm to society. No, yeah, we got to fix it. Like we have to fix the printing press. Yes, fine.
Yeah,
stipulated. But for God's sakes,
there are some instances where I'm going to look squarely at Clemson University. I saw a headline yesterday that says a potential coronavirus student or person there, and I'm like, why even print that and put it out there? They're sick, but you didn't necessarily have to put out there that they could possibly have the coronavirus.
Abundance of caution, as they say, Ant.
That's bull. Just don't say it. Because now you just
but if the person actually gets it, there's with a 14-day incubation. If the person actually gets it, you don't find out for 14 days.
Well,
you'd be a little pissed at Clemson.
No,
in
retrospect.
So the other challenge is there's no testing right now. So you're going to be possible for weeks without, you could die and still be possible for a while.
I'll give you an example. We went to RSA 2 weeks ago. You and I went to that party afterwards. Now we've learned that 2 attendees did have coronavirus. One of them, a guy in his 40s, is in an induced coma. He has it so badly. And so that probably was spread throughout many of the attendees at ours. We don't know how many people they said hi to. We don't, and who knows? We weren't at the convention, but we were at the after party.
At the after party,
we probably talked to people who talked to some of them. So it's.
I get your point, Ed.
It
feels like sensationalism.
You don't want to sensationalize. I think there's Bill Gates, I think, did a very good job of all people describing this. He wrote a piece in the New England Journal of Medicine, an opinion piece. He said, we don't know. This could be that once-in-a-century pathogen everybody's been worried about. We don't know. And one hopes, we pray that it isn't. But it would be foolish and irresponsible not to act as if it were. Much better to act as it were and prevent millions of deaths than to say, it's probably not. It's a mistake. And
I didn't mean to step on you, Ant, which I did.
I understand what Ant's saying.
No, I stepped on you, but because it pissed me off when I saw it yesterday, because that's a small town in upstate South Carolina, and I've lived there, and I got a good feel on how people think and how people operate down there. And everybody is so paranoid, my own family included. You have no idea how many phone calls I've gotten or texts I've gotten about it. And I'm like, will y'all stop reading the news? Because
that's the question. Should you just bury your head in the sand? No.
But
you shouldn't be.
They're bent out of shape and don't have to be. Be informed.
Be informed and be prudent.
Yeah.
But don't panic.
Yeah.
Hard not to panic, though, when you're reading all this.
Buying up all of the water on the planet and all of the
good.
toilet tissue. And I'm like, what is that doing?
Somebody had a theory.
Karsten, why did you buy up everything?
Somebody had a theory that the toilet paper thing is kind of an irrational, it's inexpensive, and it has to do with cleaning. And it's this irrational thing. It's not likely that anybody's.
So if you go to my numbers, there's a paper.
The toilet paper was already gone by the time I got there.
Well,
but you looked. There's Leo, exactly what you're saying. If you go to my numbers, there's one down there called Zero Risk Bias, an academic writing about
that's
this.
The name for what this is.
Exactly, because you can't control everything, so you control the one thing you can control.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, there's plenty of toilet paper in the U.S., so why are people hoarding it? This is from theconversation.com. And by the way, this happens every time. Johnny Carson created a fake toilet paper rush many decades ago by making a joke about it.
He's a showman. What do you expect?
Yeah. And so, well, here it is. They actually mention it.
Yeah.
Government press release warning of a potential shortage in toilet paper led to a lot of press coverage, but no outright panic buying until Johnny Carson joked about it during his opening monologue. Instead of laughing, people began to hoard toilet paper. Now,
my wife got back from Costco, and they were going after bleach.
Yeah. So don't hoard. Don't panic.
Oh, man, people are hoarding like crazy.
But it's not a bad thing to I don't know, Stacey. I don't what so you tweeted publicly about how you even wrote a post on your blog about this. You said it's like 2010 all over again. You start obsessively reading Twitter, and that's risky, obviously, for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. I know you love Twitter, but geez.
No,
I
will say because this is something I've obviously been thinking and writing a lot about because I've been so anxious. A lot of mine comes from the fact that I am realizing that I had a lot of faith in our government because I feel like the United States was, first world country where we're pretty good at stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And what this feels like or brings home is we have let basic funding fail for a while. We don't really have the resources in place, and we don't have the expertise or the leadership that may not be actually necessary, but is definitely psychologically necessary. So I feel like maybe a person in Venezuela might feel. Like I feel like a big support leg that I have counted on and not even realized I counted on has been taken away from me. And so now I feel like this is driving all of that home, and it's driving it home. I'm not worried about being sick, actually. If I get sick, I get sick. I'm not actually worried about that. But I am worried about understanding, I'm worried about the lack of testing. I'm worried about the lack of clear communication. I'm worried that our government is actively lying to us in a way that I don't think our government has ever done in a time of panic. And I'm also worried because I see people trying to be good and be their best selves, right? Saying, oh, I think I'm at risk. I should get tested and make sure I'm not going to infect people. And not being able to act on those things, right? So that's where my anxiety is coming from, I have discovered.
It's an opportunity, too, though, for people. Well, first of all, I'll say a couple of things. First of all, and this is really common in the tech sphere, in the geek sphere, this kind of cynical thought, government's always a bad thing. We used to have Jerry Pournelle come on, and he's just all government is bad. And there is definitely that feeling. Now there is a place for government. So I agree with you on that, Stacey. But I also notice that in troubled times, I think in 9/11, in troubled times, people step up and take care of each other in ways that, during Katrina, FEMA was notoriously failed those people. But people stepped up in a way that really gave me hope that the people are good.
Right.
People
not as good as dogs. Dogs are better.
Best thing in the world. If you got anxiety, just hug that puppy. Hug that good boy.
Sorry about that.
So I that's another way to look at it is here's an opportunity for people to step up and show our better side, our better nature. And when government fails, and sometimes it does. It did at Katarina, right?
Katrina.
And
yeah. Why do I call it Katarina?
I don't know.
German nation.
I am
and
Russian.
Puerto Rico, too. Puerto Rico.
I would rather that you call it Katrina.
Puerto Rico as well. Yeah. Same thing, right? After the big hurricane.
Oh, so I just saw this. This is just over. The Lamar Alexander just blocked an effort in the Senate to require companies to pay for sick leave. So people are not going to go. People who are sick are still going to come to work so they can earn the paycheck that they depend upon, and they're going to spread the disease more as a result. And this is the kind of short-term thinking we have.
And the new budget
also blocking,
cuts the CDC funding by about 8 times, I think.
Yep. They're also blocking efforts to keep pharmaceutical companies from overcharging for coronavirus tests.
Mm-hmm.
How much does it coronavirus?
One guy got charged $3,000.
Son of a.
Yeah. Gates Foundation is going to be issuing. This is an example of the private sector stepping up, issuing home testing kits for COVID-19 in Seattle.
It shouldn't have to.
It shouldn't have to.
Right. Because when private industry steps up, they step up. Yeah, they step up to their interests. And it may be that their interests are everyone gets tested, but the role of government is to protect both the least of us and also those, and to protect us as a herd, right? So there's two priorities, and neither of those are happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So
Stacey, one thing I wanted to ask you about your piece. And I don't do this to defend the tech companies. I'm just curious. Government, certainly, I agree. Is there anything more you think the tech companies should be doing now?
So
I think they've been doing okay.
This, it was a week ago. So that's one thing. So things change a lot. So at the Microsoft is
fast,
now,
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, they read your piece and they got their act together. So yeah.
I don't know about that. But in the point of my piece, honestly, is that government is relevant, and it is relevant in two ways. One, it funds infrastructure we need to build and to create innovation for technology. And two, it's the entity that usually defines the data that we need and mandates its collection in ways that help us address systemic issues, right? And that then the parallel and why it's 2010 is because we had this chance with broadband. And now it's coming back to bite us because we're like, oh, we need broadband for telework, but there's lots of people who don't have access to broadband. And we kind of screwed that up a little bit in 2008, 2010 timeframe. Anyway, so the point for the tech companies is Microsoft has announced that they will pay people who are at the campuses, even if their workers are not. So if you're a cook at Google, I think Google's also said they're going to do this, and a cook at Microsoft, you'll still get paid even if you don't have anyone to cook for. I know that I've written about in the Microsoft courtesy, the shuttles that take you from campus, like to building on their campus, those people will still get paid even though people are no longer on the campus.
Right. That's good.
But
big companies can do that, but little companies can't.
No.
Right.
And that's part of the problem. Yeah, if you're a Google employee, you're going to weather this storm fine, and you're going to be working at home because Google has told everybody work at home.
Well, then again, as I mentioned on All About Android last night, they're telling people to work from home, which is essentially working from the parking lots there on campus with all of those RVs and stuff. So what's the difference?
Well, at least they're stuck in there. But it's the little companies that it's going to be very hard to do this. And I think it's nice to say everybody should give people sick leave. But if you're Joe's Burger Shack,
can't afford it.
You may not be able to do that.
Can't afford it.
You're going check to check too. The privilege question here is, this brings out a lot of privilege. There's a Hacker News thread, which is Google employees complaining that they don't have 2 bedrooms to have offices at home.
Oh,
and I get that, right?
Actually,
I get that.
so
Fine,
this is a thing because Oh, sorry.
I was going to say,
I'm
what
sorry,
about the
Jeff,
poor, what about the person whose office is a an Uber car, or a UPS truck,
Right.
or a restaurant kitchen?
Right.
And so we got to keep that in mind in these cases. That yes, it's going to be hard for a month or two to be on, your partner and you are going to get on each other's case in a small apartment in San Francisco because you can't afford anything more than a studio. I'm not unsympathetic to that, but let's please keep in mind that that's still going to be a privileged position because, as you just said, Leo, you'll still be working at Google, you'll still be making money. It's okay. Yeah. Sorry, Stacey. Go ahead.
No, I was actually going to say, if this shifts to the concept of teleworking and more people working remotely for a variety of reasons, it's an interesting shift. So I know that we're obviously in the market for a house because we're going to be homeless soon. And we need 2 offices, one for me, one for my husband, which is ridiculous because we only have 1 child, but we're looking at these like
4-bedroom houses.
2,500 to 3,000 square foot houses because I'm like,
I need 4 bedrooms, man.
So these are, I'm like, looking forward, and this is one of those interesting.
You couldn't get a partner desk with your husband, and you
yeah, we'll just look at each other across the way. So as I'm doing Twig,
that's
he'll be
a
like,
recipe for a good marriage, right? Hi, honey, you again, huh? White House has gone to Silicon Valley this morning, apparently, according to the Washington Post, to ask them to help combat coronavirus, track its spread, and I think maybe most importantly, stop misinformation. They asked Amazon, Google, Facebook, IBM, Microsoft, Cisco, Twitter. They met for 2 hours with representatives from those companies looking for support and help. I would hope that they didn't say, can you guys just stop talking about it? During the session, which participants described as a collegial brainstorm, the Post writes, White House officials urged the tech industry to coordinate its efforts to stop the spread of conspiracy theories, urging the companies to swap intelligence about harmful hoaxes before they go viral. And that's completely reasonable. So we're all in it together. I agree with you, Stacey. The government has a responsibility, and when the government fails to do its job, it's bad for all of us. All of its citizens suffer. And I think the worst thing is hiding the numbers, suppressing the tests, that kind of thing, because you can't fight it effectively without that.
CDC, I've been tracking this over the last. So CDC takes the weekend off. They don't update their numbers during the weekend, which just that alone
that's mind-boggling. But that's
so then when they came back to work on Monday, I was tracking versus Johns Hopkins has, and the links are on down in the numbers again. There's a Johns Hopkins tracker across the world, which is excellent.
Right.
And it is invariably ahead of the CDC. And somebody said, well, no, CDC only reports confirmed cases. I look back at the thing and says, no, confirmed and presumptive cases. Oh. So they're at 938 right now. And Johns Hopkins is for the U.S., is at
we're loading it. It loads slow. A lot of people
1135.
That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. Yeah. It's a huge difference. There's now a total. So the Johns Hopkins tracker, 122,399 total confirmed cases, 4,552 deaths, and then they're tracking the recovered too. But clearly that's underreported and behind. It's going to be deaths versus total will be the number.
By the way, and I don't mind this so much, but we have all of the shows that we've done that have like this talked about coronavirus have been demonetized on YouTube because they don't want anybody making money on coronavirus.
Oh no!
Yeah. It's not a huge amount of money for us, but it's YouTube apparently is after a lot of creators angrily said, what the hell?
Yeah.
They're going to slowly start monetizing. I think that was not an unrealistic.
It was an easy fix to a problem.
Yeah. Automatically demonetize it and then sort it out, figure out who, because I understand.
It's touchy on both sides.
It's touchy,
YouTube side and the creator side.
Well, and it's easy for us to say, oh, that's fine. We don't rely on YouTube money, but there are a lot of people who do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And if you want to talk about the biggest story going on and maybe share sympathy and share tips, not disinformation.
Right.
Or just hearing, like, people feel a connection to people as hosts, and they like, what does Jeff think?
Right.
Right.
I don't care.
The markets are down a lot. 20% the Dow, 19% since its peak on February 19th for the S&P 500. So,
man,
my FU money just said FU to me.
yeah,
I know. It was only a few weeks ago I was thinking, well, at least my retirement's in good shape. Oh, man, was I wrong. Glamour magazine, Russia, glamour.ru
A
cover.
friend of mine at Cutting Edge put this up. This is an amazing cover. For those of you on audio, it's a Glamour cover with a model wearing a 3M mask.
95 mask. Yeah.
it's a good shot.
Well, that's
Great moments of publishing.
Yeah, that's
The other is the Australian newspaper that, is dealing with the hoarding in Australia. Sorry, my wife's coming in with the printer. It's all right. It's like that. It's like that BBC thing where the kid came in.
Yeah.
Where they printed pages for
blue paper.
Blue paper.
Blue paper. Yes. Run out of blue paper? The NT News cares. That's why we've printed an 8-page special lift out inside, complete with handy cut lines for you to use in an emergency. Get your limited edition 1-ply toilet newspaper sheets. Starts on page 21.
And they really did. There's video of it. And you open it up, and there's
That's hysterical. But that's promotional, right?
And
That's
I live in the Pacific Northwest, and moss is the acceptable alternative to toilet paper. Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Works really well.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, oh, we're fine.
Wait a second. Wait. Moss falls apart. No, I can't. I don't want to get the details.
My
falls apart in your
father,
hand.
Jeff, my father, who hiked up Mount Rainier for 10 days when he was 15, used moss the whole time.
Just Google moss toilet paper and you'll see.
I don't want to know.
It beats a corn cob, I guess.
Or a pie crust. I don't know. I'm looking at it. Wouldn't it fall apart like a pie crust? Sorry.
Hold on.
Enough.
It works really well.
Okay. Time out.
I just
There's
want to
another
offer
Australian couple that ordered. So Australians are hoarding like crazy, and I thought, oh, this is an Aussie gone completely berserk. But she ordered 40 rolls of toilet paper and got 40 cases.
Whoops. That's a lot of toilet paper.
What?
So there's pictures with the story of her. Was it up and low? I thought I put it in the rundown.
No, it is. It's here. I saw it.
It's here.
Okay. Yeah, and so they made a crown, a fort out of it. They did all kinds of things with the toilet paper.
Wow.
Where we can.
Now there's actual news, so we're done. That's the coronavirus update, which we put in every show so that we can't make any money on YouTube. That's what we're up.
You should put out the show as part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, really. Part 2. Actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea. The non-coronavirus show.
If you called it that, though, Google would still, or YouTube would demonetize you.
The show that's not about the virus, which shall not be named.
Now you get it. Now you get it.
Show.
Well, by the way, we also need now. We're going to need a new phrase for videos that become really, really popular.
Oh yeah, can't say viral.
Can't say viral anymore.
Oh, God,
I think
you're
viral's
right.
over.
Although somebody said, now I understand what the kids are talking about when they say viral. So Steve Gibson yesterday talking on Security Now about Android, and really, I think a severe problem, which is, I think, underreported, partly because nobody wants to look like an Apple bigot or an Apple fanboy, but there are, not only are there many phones that cannot be fixed there are a number of Android exploits that are fairly severe that require an updated Android operating system. Many of them are still being sold. There's a Sony Xperia being sold that can't be. In fact, if you look on Amazon, you'll find a lot of phones that can only run Android 8. And so as a result, I asked Steve, Steve, is it time to say stop buying Android, or maybe say if you buy an Android phone, only get it from Google. But even Google will not update the phone after 3 years. And Android is ridden with show-stopping exploits, severe exploits. Every hacker I know who goes to DEF CON or Black Hat says, whatever you do, don't bring an Android phone.
Right.
Now, we know all cell phones, including iPhones, have exploits thanks to this single SS7, the radio software, which is unpatched and never will be probably. But those are a little harder to take advantage of. The good news is there are Google Android phones that are less expensive. And Evan Blass had a picture, I don't know where he got this, of billboards. Oh, shoot. Brought me to the wrong part. Here it is. For advertising the Pixel 4a, which is pretty imminent unless the factory making it is closed. And look, this billboard says starting at $399.
Woo!
So,
well, that's the A's. Aren't the A's cheaper?
This is not the 4. This is the A. But I think, and we're also seeing a hole punch. We're seeing a little bit of what it looks like. It looks like it's got 3 cameras.
Snapdragon 765.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to get them free at I.O.
No, sorry. No I.O. for you.
They'll ship them out.
Actually, it looks like it's a big camera bump, but it's deceptive. It looks like it only has one lens and then a flash.
It only has one lens.
Only one lens. I'm
You're
sorry.
so spoiled.
Poor boobala.
How do you live with only
You're so
one
spoiled.
camera lens on your phone? I love Android, and I think Google does a very good job with its Pixels. I'm happily sitting right here with a Pixel 4. But I'm starting to really wonder if we should be recommending Android devices at this point.
But go back again. If you buy the Google Pixel 4,
You're okay.
you're fine.
For 3 years.
So the question remains.
For 3 years. It's hard to recommend, though, people buy a phone that in 3 years you're going to have to say you must get rid of it.
But Apple doesn't support their OSs for more than 3 years.
Oh, no. If you have an iPhone, you have the latest. You have to go way back to get an iPhone that won't support iOS 13.
Yeah, I thought it stopped like at the 7 or something.
No,
right?
it's before
at this
that.
point.
Yeah.
Do phone batteries last longer than 3 years?
Good point.
Can you get a replacement battery?
Yes.
Where?
I think a lot.
A portable one? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
you can get a replacement battery. Any phone you can get a replacement
That's
battery,
true. That's
including
true.
iOS. Let me see how far what the oldest phone.
I'm going
It's
back.
a pain in the butt to get one, though.
The 6, so the iPhone 6 or the iPhone SE are your oldest ones.
SE.
Okay, so I was thinking 7. My
6.
bad.
So we're at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're 5 years after the 6.
Oh, wow.
But I'm pretty sure they only promise a certain level.
Okay.
But it's not
there was
unfair
no
for
9.
Google to stop after 2 or after 3
Oh, there was no
years.
9. I
There's
gave
only,
it a
that's
9.
only 4 years.
You're right. So it's only 4 years. How long does Apple support iOS? Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I mean, you shouldn't use an old phone, should you?
Did it answer it?
Yes. Here's the chart.
Does it say 3 years?
Here's the chart. 13 goes from 2015, so it's 5 years to 2020.
Okay.
But you and if you have, the thing is, you can still buy a brand new iPhone 8 or 10. Well, that's not going to save you much, but you can. Yeah, you know, I think 5 years is not unreasonable, but 2 years is not.
2 years.
And
is
the real
not.
problem is
Yeah.
you can still
Agreed.
buy brand new Android phones that are forever vulnerable, and that's a problem, I think.
Well, the other problem is environmental. If you make these
That's
things
true.
disposable with
That's
a presumption of disposability.
So anyway, I don't know when the 4A will come out. That's probably up in the air because I don't know where they're making. There is apparently a Cuban store already selling it. So that means that it's probably not too far out.
Cuban store?
Yeah, the video comes from Cuba.
Yeah.
For real, though?
This is exactly what happened with the
last
4.
year, yeah.
Within
Yeah.
the previous 2
The
phones.
3A.
And it came
pretty
from
much.
Cuba?
No, the 3A was Dominican Republic, wasn't it?
Okay.
So who we don't know where it's being made. There's a video of it. Honestly, do you still use a 3A, Jeff, or did you get a 4?
I have 3A.
I think the 3A is excellent. I think the 4A
Yeah.
would be excellent. And at least we have a good Android phone that's $400 that we can recommend to people.
Right.
I love the 3A.
Yeah.
I like the 3A a lot.
So much.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it gets a little weird sometimes when I go from airplane mode to normal mode. My Bluetooth sometimes gets a little wonky, but that is the only complaint I have.
Yeah.
And I think that's not uncommon with phones sometimes.
I was going to say, I don't think Bluetooth is perfect in any phone.
Bluetooth is just not perfect
It's
in
always
general.
a mess. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It's awful.
It's not
Anthony,
awful.
It's awful. Awful. It's horrific. It's terrible. It stinks. Anthony Lewandowski, you may remember, he was a Google engineer who went to Uber and was then sued because Google said you took trade secrets over to Uber. He has been ordered to pay a fine of $179 million to Google. He immediately declared bankruptcy.
Big dollars.
That's a lot of money. He says, actually, he's not doing that bad. In filing for bankruptcy protection, he says he has 50 to 100 million in personal assets. So, not bad, Anthony. But he can't pay 179 million. That's crazy.
Oh, man. Goodness.
Wow. I don't know which is more stunning, the fine or the amount of money he actually has.
Oh, it always makes me wonder, how does a team of lawyers come up with these actual dollar amounts for any of these cases? I mean, that's pretty specific. 179.
Sometimes
million.
it's not a team of lawyers. Sometimes it's a judge
It
or
is,
a
in this
jury.
case,
about
it
it.
was a judge.
Yeah, I wonder how they come up with those numbers. So
I would think he'd go through appeal before.
Oh, there are
filing bankruptcy.
formulas, Ant.
there are.
Oh, yeah.
There are actuarial tables that talk about like how much certain people, certain jobs are worth, and then they kind of roll from there.
Ah, okay. TIL.
And there may be actual losses, or Google may be able to say, well, that, it cost us this much to develop it. Uber is going to get this kind of benefit from it. Speaking of lawsuits, I don't know if you remember this. I forgot about it.
Uh-oh.
Tulsi Gabbard sued Google. She accused Google of infringing on her free speech when it briefly suspended her advertising account last year. She sued for $50 million. A judge in the U.S. District Court for Central District of California has dismissed that case, granted Google's motion to dismiss, because he said the campaign had failed to prove the First Amendment clause that prohibits government from curbing free speech applied to Google as a private company. You don't have a First Amendment right with private entities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times do you have to say
somebody running for
that?
president can't read the damned Bill of Rights and figure that out.
You don't have a First Amendment right with the company. It was the first lawsuit ever by a presidential candidate against a major tech company. She argued that Google, by regulating political ads on its platform, assumed the traditional role of government in terms of regulating elections and therefore was subject to the First Amendment. The judge disagreed. She's still in the running. She's not going to be in the debate,
Yeah.
but she hasn't withdrawn yet.
Google is not the government yet.
Thank goodness.
Hey, right now, I would take Google. Dr.
Yeah.
Google would do a fine job.
The Swedes have fined Google a whopping 7 million euros. Because it doesn't even matter why. No, because Google had failed to comply with the Swedish Data Protections Authority's orders to remove search listings. Google said, we disagree with the Swedish decision. We plan to appeal. I just give them the money, honestly. How much?
It's going to
7
cost
million
more
euros.
to appeal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but you can't set a precedent.
Right.
True.
It's more about the precedent,
point.
isn't it? The regulator.
Sorry, I'm just like, so I'm actually lady today. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're Stacey. Well, actually, Higginbotham. I like
She's
it.
actually just keeping us grounded.
Actually, the regulator also found fault with Google's practice of notifying website owners of delisting requests and who requested them. What's wrong with that? In its delisting request form, Google states that the site owner will be notified of the request in a way that might result in individuals refraining from exercising their right to request delisting, thereby undermining the effectiveness of this right.
Anyway.
But this completely unrelated, but Spain, the Spanish Supreme Court said that Google has a right to do that.
EU. You're so
You're
quirky.
so confusing. It's the second GDPR fine for Google. Remember, France sued them, fined them 50 million euros, 7 million
France
euros.
always goes first.
Yeah.
Does someone need to get that?
No. Thank you for asking. Well, actually. All right. Let's see what else here. I'm not going to read that one. Facebook's board is now 40% female and 30% black. That's good.
Hey, that's in the rundown.
Yeah.
Well, we can. I know what it is now. We can edit that one.
Okay. It's the one right above it. You know which one.
Oh, wait.
Because it's interesting because Adam Mosseri.
Hold on. We got to do a little correction, possibly. Was that 7 million or $7 million or $7 minute kroners?
It said, it says euros.
Oh, euros.
Political.
See, isn't that the universal symbol for a euro?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but
Sweden's not on the euro.
They're not on the euro. They use kroner.
Maybe that's the. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's what. Maybe because Ireland is.
Dateline Brussels. It's very confusing.
Okay. Well, no. People were pointing it out, and here's the.
I'm just saying that's what the headline read. That's what I read. You could figure it out. It's not 7 million crullers or whatever the hell they use.
Got to do the math.
Kroner. Rollers.
Hello. 7 million
Like
kroners
delicious.
sounds
Awesome.
Bring it.
Every Swede gets a cruller on Google. Yeah.
The Swedes, I will say, the Swedes do love their sweet products. They like their donuts. They like their cakes.
Lingonberry jam.
Their lingonberry jam.
Actually, the Swedes have become very aggressive about encryption in a way some say is anti-democratic.
Yes.
And I always liked Sweden. I just want to say this.
I love IKEA.
Yeah, IKEA, meatballs. No, and actually, I've been to Stockholm a couple of times. I've been to a bunch of places in Sweden. It's a beautiful country.
It's a great place.
They, like many other countries now, are cracking down. I guess we could talk about the Earn It Act that's coming up thanks to our fine senator from California,
Talk
Dianne
about the Swedish
Feinstein.
Act first.
Do you want to talk about the Swedish Act?
Talk about the Swedish Act.
Sure.
This is actually pretty dang serious.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
The only reason.
Well, you'll find out.
The only reason.
On my screen, please.
The only reason I'm a little concerned about this is the source. I never heard of the source for this story, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. So
Linux reviews.
Yeah, Linux reviews.
Yeah, I don't know that I've heard of it.
So I don't know.
But I have seen
other articles on this.
Let me see.
Sweden has ended democracy. See, that's a little sensationalistic.
Here we go.
With the passing of a new secret electronic surveillance law. The thing that's scary about this law, it doesn't require law enforcement to have a warrant to install surveillance hardware and software in electronic devices. And according to the article, and again, I really want to see another source before I get too head up about this. It would allow the Swedish authorities to install surveillance devices on a place that the culprit, the alleged perpetrator, might even be visiting. So if you think, well, I think he's going to go to Burger King tonight, you could put a camera up in there. Again, and without a warrant. So I want to see another confirming.
The Local, which I just put up, which is a good publication in English in Sweden.
Okay.
5 things to know about the law.
Okay, good. All right.
The National Police Chief says that in order to reach the most serious criminals, you need to be able to keep an eye on their communication. Otherwise, you will always be blind or half blind. As criminals turn to encrypted messages, we need to be able to follow them.
Same argument every law enforcement
Everybody does.
Official. And the other
The
thing
new law makes it possible for police to access devices to view encrypted communications directly at the source instead of tapping the messages while they're being sent.
The other thing that made me nervous is that the law comes into effect on April 1st. So I really want to, I'm glad you found a second source. It is, it really is terrifying. They can basically install malware on not only the suspect's devices without a warrant, but anywhere the suspect might be going. That's terrifying. I hope.
What does this law mean for Sweden's image as a mecca for internet freedom and online privacy? Asks the reporter of him or herself. The reporter, him or herself, answers, this law cannot be considered as mass surveillance since it will be used in a targeted manner only when someone is suspected of a serious crime. Police have estimated that they will need to use the law about 50 to 100 times, though I would imagine once you have a backdoor in there.
Yeah. Well, and remember, I think this critical thing is you think they're going to be somewhere you can install surveillance devices there. Mm-hmm. That surveils everybody who's there, not
everybody
just
else. Yeah.
So then the police are they going to ignore everything they see and learn there because they only want to get this one guy? I don't know.
So wait, this is once you have a warrant to monitor a person's stuff. It's no warrant.
No, it's warrantless.
Okay, so did you guys see there are two stories in parallel? One is from Protocol. It's from 6 days ago. It's on a company called Babylon. It's Locate X. Let's see, Protocol. I'll get this. Surveillance firm Banjo is the title. Did you find it? Surveillance firm Banjo used a secret company and fake apps. Oh, no, that's not the one. Sorry, my bad. That's Vice. I'll find it, maybe. I had the link up earlier, and now I can't find it. Sad. It was basically.
All I can find is a bunch of articles about bluegrass, so you're going to have to.
Yeah, no, it's Locate X, and it's. There's a company name associated with it.
One?
Ah, I found it. Protocol.com. So through apps, not warrants,
Yes.
Locate X allows federal law enforcement to track phones. Federal agencies have big contracts with Virginia-based Babel Street. There's the Babel. Depending on where you've traveled, your movements may already be in the company's data.
So this is without a warrant. It's basically using a third party to gather information about where a particular phone has been based on the apps they have. So like maybe I'm just using Foursquare as an example, but it could be anything that grabs your location. They pull that data in, and law enforcement can get access to this service from them that says when they offer a phone, a unique ID for a phone, they can just run it against this service.
Is very closely related to what
Clearview or
what Google has been doing. Remember, we talked about a number of cases where law enforcement would go to Google, say, "Give me the identities of everybody who's in this area during these robberies." And in fact, they used it to track somebody down. He was in every single area. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Locate X does. Google's always fought those warrants, but has handed them over in time. A former government official familiar with Local X provided an example of how it could be used. Referring to the aftermath of a car bombing or kidnapping, investigators could draw what is known as a geofence around the site, identify mobile devices, so not just an individual, but in general, that were in the vicinity in the days before the attack, see where else those devices had traveled leading up to the attack or where they traveled afterward. So it's everybody.
Yeah.
And it's that, if you see a device that a month ago was in Saudi Arabia, maybe Saudis were involved or maybe not. It's a lead generator. You get a data point from there. You can use your other resources to figure out if it's valid.
There was a recent story about this from a bicyclist. I think they were in Florida.
Yeah, remember that?
And that was within the last week or so,
Yep.
I believe. He was in Florida, an older lady. There it is. We got it on the screen.
Google tracked his bike ride past a burglarized home that made him a suspect.
It's not fair, but I get it. That's what the tech provided as a data point.
Yeah.
It's not fair, though.
It's not very much different than having, say, a camera outside our home and then trying to track down all the people that you saw in that camera. I just don't think Google should be involved in this. And what this underscores.
Nor does Google think they want to be involved in it, right?
This underscores the problem with our phones. It sounds like LocateX was aggregating data from a variety of apps. Is that right, Stacey?
Yes.
So you may have apps that feed your location to LocateX already on your phone. Probably do, I would bet.
But isn't Google right now trying to go through and do an audit on apps that are
right? And Android,
different?
just like iOS now, does prompt you if an app is gathering your location behind the scenes all the time. And by the way, that's worked really well, at least on the Apple side. People who gather location information report that ever since Apple started saying, do you want to allow this all the time or only when the app's running? And in fact, the Apple pop-up doesn't even give you all the time.
Right.
It says disallow or only when the app's running. If you want to turn it on all the time, as you might with, say, Google Maps, you'd have to go in dig down into the settings, find it, and turn it on. And that has reduced dramatically the amount of location information apps on iOS get. It's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
It is.
I have to say, I love my Android devices and I love the configurability, but I have to say increasingly I'm thinking, if you really, Apple at least steps up and tries to protect you. It's not perfect.
Well, Apple makes a shtick of it.
Google tried to protect this gentleman too that we just talked about.
Yeah.
No,
they did let him know and said, hey, look, the law enforcement are trying to get this information. So here's our note to you. You have to get over there to the courts within X amount of days to fight this out. They didn't just flat out say, this is you.
But they said it's up to you to fight it.
Yeah.
They did say so the two remedies here, Google either decides to dump that information after a very short period of time, which they could do.
They could, yeah.
Or two, we write our laws to be a little bit more protective in this case of people who might be caught up in these sorts of dragnets. Those are your two options.
That's the key. And it's like the lie detectors, right? So you can do that. You can test the galvanic skin response. You can get the data. But what does it mean and how do you use it? Matters. You can tap phones, but we put laws in place that said you can't do that without a warrant. We did not do that in the case of your mail, electronic mail, and that's the issue. So we do not have a high-level principle of privacy under which these things can then flow. Instead, we're doing it technology by technology, episode by episode, and that's what's wrong here.
The thing that really bothers me about LocateX is that, if you go to Google, you got to get a warrant, you got to subpoena them, they're going to fight you. It's a higher standard.
They're now even charging.
I still don't like geofence warrants, but at least there's a higher standard. So what do the police do? Say, well, or we could just go to LocateX and buy the information.
Right.
And that's terrible.
Right.
I swear this sounds similar to that Clearview AI.
You're right.
It is
That's where it's similar. That's where it's similar. Yes, you're exactly right.
Now, one could argue, though, that in a case, a legal case, if it becomes clear that this is how a company is getting their data, then what you would see is going after
LocateX.
Yeah, defenders going after and trying to defend someone and going after it that way. And you could invalidate police use of this in one or two sweeping court cases.
That's a good point. If it just makes if it's a good defense to say, Your Honor, they bought this information from this sketchy company.
Right. They violated unreasonable search and seizures.
It's fruit of the poisoned tree, Your Honor. I learned that on Ellie
That's
McBeal.
interesting, Stacey. But I don't. They just got data that's available otherwise, so they didn't use their power, right?
Well, that's for a judge to decide. Unreasonable search and seizure. All right, so then I would go with fruit of the poisoned tree. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah,
but
I just like saying fruit of the poisoned tree.
I know.
Someone is going to have to come and fight that. And a lot of people are just going to acquiesce and get caught up in it, most likely those who are poor. And this guy happened to talk to his parents, and his parents were like, we'll spend a couple $1,000s for a lawyer. Otherwise.
Isn't that sad? They actually went out and hired a lawyer. That cost them a lot of money.
Yeah.
And this is where, if Google's like, screw it, we want to keep this information. I would like to see Google and all these other companies start looking at these laws and saying, hey, we should probably make a lobbying effort to protect our customers, because eventually our customers are going to be like, screw these phones.
Yes,
so
good
Google,
point. Excellent point.
Get on it.
Well, and Stacey, I go beyond that. The platforms need to stand up and protect the internet more. When it comes to Section 230, Ron Wyden, the senator who was a co-author of it, is enraged at the platforms because they didn't send anybody high up to fight FOSTA SESTA, because who wants to stand up in favor of child porn was their PR view. But what they didn't do was stand up for the First Amendment of the internet. They didn't stand up for free speech. So yes, with great power comes great responsibility. And if they are the proprietors of the internet for now, they should be better protectors of it. And I too get angry at them. Yes.
By the way, that works so well for FOSTA SESTA that now the government's working on the Earn It Act.
Sorry, I took us away from Earn It.
I'll bring it back to Earn It.
Nicely done,
This
sir.
is by the way, bipartisan bill sponsored by Matthew Green's article is very good. He's a cryptographer at Johns Hopkins and not a crazy flaming political guy. This guy is very,
he
very
taught me all
serious.
about differential privacy.
Oh yeah, he's
I
good.
like him a lot.
He's one of the best. So Lindsey Graham and Dick Blumenthal, boy, if you wouldn't expect them sitting in a tree, co-sponsors. This bill is a weird bill. It attacks some of the things we hold very important on the internet in very interesting ways. Earn It means companies will have to earn their Section 230 protection by doing everything they can to capture child predators. Always a good thing.
As if the platforms are, this is such a PR thing, as if the platforms are not in fact today doing everything they can.
Right.
They are not doing everything they can. They are not, Jeff. Did you not read that horrifying story in the New York Times about how they don't respond in time to police efforts to get data from them because they don't have enough people? You didn't see this? Go read that story because it is horrifying. It doesn't argue for encryption or any, it's not making those kind of arguments, but it's basically saying that these tech platforms are in a lot of ways complicit because when investigators try to get data, they have to wait weeks to get to get proof basically back from these companies, and people are going free. They can't catch them in time, and maybe maybe law enforcement is scapegoating, but it sounded pretty.
It's a very good thing to invoke. Think of the children. As again, I said again, it worked really well with FOSTA and SESTA. Earn It works, this is Matthew Green writing, by revoking Section 230 protections. That's a sacred cow for us on the internet. It makes it possible for providers to operate on the internet by preventing the provider from being held responsible for what their customers do on a platform like Facebook. Just like the phone company is not responsible for the conversations you have on the phone, Section 230 protected Facebook, Twitter, more importantly, at least from my point of view, blog comment sections from stuff posted there. The new bill, Green goes on to say, would make it financially impossible for providers like WhatsApp and Apple to operate services unless they conduct, and this is in quotes, best practices for scanning their systems for child porn. But, Green says, there are no best practices in existence, and the techniques for doing this and still at the same time preserving privacy are completely unknown.
There's the rub.
The bill creates a government-appointed committee that will tell technology providers what technology they have to use. The specific nature of the committee is Byzantine and described within the bill itself. Needless to say, the makeup of the committee, which can include as few as 0 data security experts, ensures that end-to-end encryption will almost certainly not be considered a best practice. You can't scan those messages for illegal activities. Well, you can't have that encryption. So Green, who's a cryptographer, thinks this is a backdoor way to allow the government to ban encryption on commercial services. And even more beautifully, it doesn't come out and actually ban the use of encryption. It just makes it commercially infeasible.
It's like a loophole.
And
that's the way we like to do things.
Yeah, clever, isn't it?
Damn.
Yep, and small companies, this could kill them. And so if you hate the platforms owning the world and you want some new entrants, this kind of regulation creates a barrier to entry.
And unfortunately, and this again worked so well with FOSTA and SESTA, nobody wants to say, everybody who writes about this has to say, oh, I'm not in favor of child sexual abuse material.
Of course.
Let me be clear. That's horrific. That's terrible. And that's why they use this.
Yeah.
Because
They just need to be pro internet freedom.
Yeah.
This is like the abortion language.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're not you're pro-choice or pro-life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End-to-end encryption makes scanning for child sexual abuse material almost impossible. And so, you know, I'm not going to presume that Dianne Feinstein and Lindsey Graham and Dick Blumenthal are proposing this bill because they want to get rid of encryption, although they've all said they want to get rid of encryption.
No,
but it may be the side
Dianne
effect.
Feinstein's been
She
not
hates
a friend
encryption. She does not
Yeah,
like
she
it.
does.
And Lindsey Graham does not like it. I don't know where Dick Blumenthal stands on it, but you know, and it could very well be, you know, you're a senator, you go around, I need sponsors for my bill. It's against child sexual abuse. Okay, sign me up. They're not technically sophisticated. They may not understand that no means it really exists to do this in a private way. It allows encryption. And so we're all against child porn. Nobody's saying that's a good thing. Nobody.
Amen, brother.
But be careful what you wish for. Section 230 is really important. Without Section 230, these businesses can't operate. They just can't operate. So that
or to put it another way, forget the businesses. We can't converse.
Right.
Because they're not going to let us converse because our conversation will put them in a position of liability.
Right. Mm-hmm. So in that case, they're going to say, well, Section 230 encryption, which is more important to my business. It's very clear. Section 230.
Yeah.
Encryption. Okay, fine. So it's actually you got to admire they're clever. That's clever.
It sounds like some lawyers have been at it. It's
clever. Instead of going head on against encryption, like the Swedes or whoever, like the Russians and Australians, this is a little jujitsu. Very clever.
Wow.
Let's see. Okay, I should give you some happy stuff. Here's
Or
your
an
happy.
ad. Or an ad.
I'll give you an ad. I got plenty of time.
That's a happy thing.
Calm
Karsten, that's the happiest thing of all.
Calm down. We'll get the ad. I promise.
The economy's
revenue.
cratering. Please
Calm down.
give me some money.
Karsten told me that we wouldn't be on for too long today. Oh no, that was you, Leo.
Oh, I'm glad you're
The
having
look
such a
on
good
his
time,
face.
Stacey.
All right.
Google plans. I'll just do one happy story. Don't worry. It's not going to last long. Google
Stacey at the dinner party. We're going to get dinner here?
That is me.
Enough
When you show up at my house
conversation.
for a dinner party, you're seated at dinner or snacks, like pre-dinner snacks, right away.
Love it.
I will just let you know that if you come to my house, you will get snacks immediately. You will be
That's
plied
fair.
with food and liquor immediately.
I can confirm.
Yeah, you confirm, right?
I can confirm.
Lisa
I've
thinks,
never
what are
been
you
to Leo's
serving so
house.
much hors d'oeuvres for? Nobody's going to have any room for supper.
You walk in and that's the first thing you see.
Eat food. Eat lots of food. And now, thanks to Carson, I have an entire...
Oh, that ham. That ham.
Man, that ham looked awesome.
It's really good. Come on over, everybody, because it's big. I got 40 pounds of ham on my kitchen counter.
Jamon.
It's jamon serrano, the Spanish ham. He bought a rack for it, and it has a special sword-like knife,
Yes.
so you can thinly slice pieces
Yes.
off of it. Oh, I was stupid. I should have done a time lapse, so you can see it
Yes.
whittle it down, because it's already considerably whittled. It done been whittled already. There's about this much gone.
I'm impressed.
Oh man, I love that.
I'm impressed that y'all put that much work on
I
it.
can't walk by it and not slice a little piece
Yes.
off of that sucker.
It's like candy,
I
right?
love it.
It's salted. It's basically a country ham.
Mm-hmm.
It's a salted cured Spanish ham. Slice it very thinly. Put it on a nice cracker. That's dinner.
That's good living there.
The
There
hamon
it is.
of
Jamon.
freedom.
A little cheese,
It's
please.
a freedom ham. You don't need cheese with this. It's so good. I was eating it without the cracker, but I really thought something should absorb all that grease, so I put a little cracker in it.
Yeah. Your arteries will absorb it. Absorb all the grease. They got it.
Google
Can't wait to
plant.
hear your happy story. delaying it yet further.
Oh, screw it. Let's do an ad. No, Google plans a new Chromecast Ultra. This is not as happy as I thought it was going to be.
Why not?
It's going to have a remote.
That's not a bad thing.
Yay.
How you?
I don't know. It's not that
That's
happy.
not a bad thing. I mean, it's
Where will they
taking-
ever see it now?
The sixth remote on my couch.
They're making it in Italy.
You're losing the whole phone connection and all of its kludginess because the
Yeah.
Chromecast, I had a love-hate relationship.
No, that's a
with the
good point because
Chromecast.
I think it confused a lot of people that the phone was the remote.
Right.
It's like, well, what? So now it's a mass consumer dongle that runs Android TV, which that's good too.
Good news.
So you'll get YouTube TV, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and more. Because instead of having to have that on your phone and then
Right.
sending it to the Chromecast, blah blah blah,
All
blah,
of
blah,
those
blah.
reasons to fail before
Yeah.
you get to watch your first show.
No information on pricing or availability. Probably something they thought about launching at Google I/O along with the Pixel 4a, but that's all
Right.
gone.
Sounds like a nice competitor to the Roku folks.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah, a little stick.
I dig that.
I do too, and actually, I like Android TV. Unfortunately, a lot of over-the-top streamers do not.
I like my Roku so
Roku's
much.
nice. We got one
Yeah,
in our
Roku's
house.
the best. For instance, at least with Comcast, when you try to sign on to HBO Go on the Android TV, it says no.
I don't understand when Roku's out there. Why would you want
No,
a
you're right.
Google product?
you're
Sorry,
right.
I'm
It's
like.
just choices. It's competition.
Choices is good.
I like
I guess
to
it
say-
works. It works with Google Voice or Google Assistant.
Yes. It has other features. My favorite Android TV is the Shield. The NVIDIA
Yeah,
Shield
that's
is amazing.
one of the standards.
Yeah.
there.
And it's got a very fast processor, so you can play games on it, and it's nice. But it's frustrating because a lot of the over-top streamers, I guess the ones that are on cable, can't get the cable company to, because that's how they do it. You sign in with your cable account, and then you
Yep.
can run HBO Go.
Yep.
They can't get the cable company to agree. They'll do it with Apple. They'll do it with
Right.
Roku. Actually, they only recently started with Roku. It didn't work on Roku for a while too. But now, no, not Android TV. No. What are you trying to use Android TV for? What's wrong with you? All right, we have a changelog. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Hold the trumpets. Because first,
Wow. And I mean, and those trumpets went down too.
oh man, they were ready. They were there. They
I'm
they
impressed.
thought they were on a smoke break. They were sitting there, the trumpeters, and they thought, oh, I got all the time in the world. And I said, God, they heard the word changelog, and they
They
jumped.
jumped up
Did you see
and then
them
it
jump?
went straight down.
They got, whoa. They got ready.
I am impressed.
Got my horn. Threw that cigarette on the ground and said, we're ready to play, sir. But no, not yet. Hold on. Because first a word from ZipRecruiter. We actually love. Did we hire you through ZipRecruiter? No.
No.
But-
It was Mr. Miles. Like
I hired
couple
Miles
days
through
later.
ZipRecruiter. Ashley came from ZipRecruiter. Who else came from ZipRecruiter? A lot of our employees. See, ZipRecruiter is the easiest way to hire. And, it's tough. We're a small company. When we're down a person or we want to hire somebody, that means a lot of extra work for people who already are stretched too thin, i.e. my wife, Lisa. So when our bookkeeper said, here's 2 weeks notice, Lisa went, oh, I got to hire somebody fast. I said, honey, ZipRecruiter.com/twig. And she said, oh, yeah. First thing happens when you post on ZipRecruiter, it goes to 100 of the web's top job sites. So you're already getting that posting out to as many people as possible. But they don't stop there. ZipRecruiter has powerful matching technology that scans all the resumes they already have on file, because people come there to apply for jobs too. It's a job site itself. ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and then says, hey, Lisa's got a job. It was wild. So we posted the bookkeeping job opening at breakfast. And by lunchtime, we're literally within a couple hours, Lisa said, oh, look, this candidate's great. Oh, here's another one. By lunchtime, I think we had 4. In fact, this is not only us. ZipRecruiter is so effective, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter will get a quality candidate within the first day. But you can't filter out candidates who don't fit your needs. All the applicants go right into the ZipRecruiter interface. They're not ringing your phone or sending your email to it. So, and ZipRecruiter formats everything so you can scan it quickly. The resumes are all reformatted so you can read them quickly. You can eliminate the ones you don't want. You can highlight the ones that are the best. They even help you do that by automatically highlighting the best applicants and pick the right person fast. And I got to tell you, it really works. ZipRecruiter, try it free right now. ZipRecruiter.com/twig. ZipRecruiter.com/twig. We thank ZipRecruiter for doing such a great job for us, for supporting the show. We thank you for supporting the show by using that special address. Try it, really. It really works. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter.com/twig. Oh, you didn't get much pie. I'm sorry.
I got a bit of a slice out of there. I'm good for the moment.
I love how he looked like a guilty German shepherd.
I know, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Busted.
I'm not hiding it. I love pie.
He's titrating that pie. He's going to get that pie to last all day. Just drip.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ant. We should really have a good conversation that doesn't involve Ant so he can really chow down.
It's
a little birthday present for Ant is leaving him alone.
okay.
Isn't he cute?
I still will have pie for, post-show work.
The next 15 minutes after the show, it'll be gone.
I love it
heard
that you
from Stacey.
they gave you a whole pie just for yourself.
I love it, too.
That's wild. That's
So
wild.
grateful.
We got a second one for the staff, so they got to have some.
What kind of berries?
Marionberry.
Marionberries.
Oh, they are Marionberries. They're really Marionberries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I didn't know what that was until moving out here.
Oh, they're delicious. They're kind of like blackberries, yeah?
That's correct.
I was I've had Marionberry pie.
Is it just a coincidence that the former mayor of Washington, D.C., that was busted
Yes,
for cocaine
it
is
is
named
coincidence.
Marion Barry?
Pure coincidence.
Yeah, because his parents probably didn't know there was a California thing called a Marionberry.
Probably not.
Marion Blackberry.
And I don't see any.
It's not just California. It's Oregon too.
It's what?
Oregon?
It's Oregon too.
Oh, right.
West
Oregon and
Coast.
Washington.
West Coast.
They don't have it in North Kakalaki.
Nope. We just call them blackberries over there.
It's a variant.
California thinks everything's special.
Special
Of course.
California variety.
Are those California? They have them up here in Washington, too.
They're
not as
from
good as a lot of
Marion
West
County,
Coasters.
Oregon.
Oregon is what I heard.
Oh,
And they
okay.
do look, they are basically, they're blackberries. Come on, that's a blackberry.
We called those dewberries in Houston.
They look just like Olali berries. They're also
they're-
like that. They're all just different variants. Of the
Oh, that's
same
what those
idea.
look like, too? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Right? Carson and Olali berries
The
similar. to-
lollyberries are more like blueberries.
Oh, okay. No.
Okay. It's a cross between an Olali blackberry and a Chehalem blackberry.
Never heard of them. But it's delicious.
So there's an Olali berry, but on the Olali berry, they don't have a picture of the berry, just the pie.
Enough said.
Best
Enough said.
pie ever.
I need pie.
This is where pies
Oh, boy,
go
do I
to die.
need pie now. Yeah.
Duarte's in Pescadero on Route 1. Go now.
Oh, yeah,
Pie.
I've been there. That's right. That's good. Pescadero. Yeah, I grew up in Santa Cruz. The berry, Olali berry, was a selection from a cross between the Black Logan, developed by Judge James Logan in California, and the Young berry, developed by Burns Young in Louisiana.
Young berry.
According to Judge Logan, Black Logan was a cross between the Eastern Blackberry Crandall and the Western Dewberry, also
dewberry.
known as the look at this word,
Achenbach.
Achenbach.
I don't know how you say that.
Achenbach. Young berries from the Phenomenal versus Austin Mays, not Austin Myers.
Austin.
Phenomenal
Is there an
is
old berry?
a cross of the Achenbach Western
I'll have the old
Dewberry
berries.
The
and
old
the
berry?
Cuthbert Red Raspberry. Good Lord. I had no idea there was so much work being done in blackberry horticulture. There is, though.
I appreciate their work because
Is it-
this pie is great.
You think it must be really easy to cross blackberries? Like they just beg to be crossed?
Blackberries are a scourge upon the earth.
They hurt.
They
will
are, yeah,
go
those brambles
everywhere.
are awful.
We have the road we live on is lined with blackberry bushes, and Lisa has a penchant to go out and pick them. We make the boys pick them, though.
Nope. Always go out with long sleeves.
Long
I had to
sleeves.
teach my boys
They're so
early.
good, though.
Wear your long sleeves when
She
you go
make-
pick the berries.
She makes a pie when we got blackberry season. Pie Day's coming up March 14th, Saturday. Everybody have some pie.
It'll be just another day for me. I always have pie.
So I don't want to quote Mosseri, but it is an interesting
It is interesting.
story. Instagram head Adam Mosseri on how Facebook protects Instagram from scrutiny. He says,
which is him also a little bit throwing them under the self-driving car, just kind of saying, well, when they screw up, we learn from it and we look better.
He said this on an interview on an NBC News Buyers Market podcast. For lack of a more elegant phrase, Facebook as a company serves as a poop umbrella for Instagram.
Nicely done, Leo. Nicely done. For our delicate ears.
So the idea is what? Because nobody criticizes Instagram, they all criticize Facebook.
Right.
And so as a result, Instagram kind of skates along. Okay.
Well, I think he's also saying that when Facebook screws up, they learn from those mistakes too.
Yes, we learn.
Which
Adam's really smart, but let's remember he was in charge of newsfeed at Facebook when they were getting criticized.
Boy.
So,
by the way, his word of advice to Instagrammers: don't double Insta, referring to posting twice to your Instagram feed in one day. Only once a day. Everybody double Instas. Most triple.
I don't double Insta.
You only post once. You have a rule once a day.
I don't Insta all that often. We Insta at CES and then we forget our account for the next 8 months.
Wait a minute. So who's saying this? Don't double Insta.
The head of Instagram.
Wow.
He says, I think it's okay, but young people don't think it's okay. It looks like you're trying too hard.
Oh, so that's why he's saying it.
Yeah.
Other than that, then do it. If you're trying to get pushed up, then you should. The more you post, you get pushed up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to appease any young people. They don't give a crap what I post anyway.
Exactly. Screw the youngs. We don't need them.
But this whole poop umbrella discussion.
You want to bring that up, huh?
It was making me think, is that similar to basically having like a shell game? You have the larger company at the top as an umbrella, if you will, and underneath.
Sure. You can nurture Instagram, let it grow. And then when it gets big enough, it can be a poop umbrella for somebody else.
It sort of branches out. But in the interim, it's more of a...
It's poop umbrellas all the way down, kids.
You hide some stuff there.
I think we've all
from an accounting standpoint.
You were acting all puritanical about it, and then you just can't stop saying it.
So we talked a couple of weeks ago about Amazon's grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't us. It was on Twit with Christina Warren, who lives across the street from the 7,000 square foot grab and go store. It's like a full grocery store.
Oh, she lives in Seattle?
She lives on Pike Street.
We talked about it here too. We talked about it because Mr. Miskovich. No, you were out of town.
Oh, Sam used it. I know, because he keeps stealing bananas. Stupid.
Right.
I haven't used the big one. I've used the smaller Amazon Go
So
stores.
it turns out now we've learned that Amazon has made this technology so that they can sell it to other people.
Mm-hmm. That's how Amazon does. Everything that Amazon builds is designed to be sold to other people, even if it never gets there. They design everything as a service first.
It has a terrible name, Just Walk Out Technology.
I think that's a great name.
You like that? Just
do.
Walk Out.
It's just literal. Love
Sounds. You wouldn't want to name a movie that.
That's what Stacy's going to do unless she gets her dinner soon.
Hurry!
I'm not hungry. I'm just anxious and
bored.
I need to.
Aren't we soothing you?
Helps.
Aren't we soothing you?
You're the opposite of soothing. I love y'all, but y'all are not soothing at all.
What? I think we're very soothing.
We have our moments.
So, Stacey,
we can sit back and talk about warm pie.
Oh my God! Okay,
with the scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
And just the right size bowl.
Big
on
St.
your
Bernard puppies.
comfy couch.
Oh.
With your remote.
Yeah.
I'm getting very anxious right now with this.
Yeah, the ASMR is not helping y'all. Basically, I just have a hard time sitting still right now.
When I said that Ant was the Bob Ross of Twit, he took it a little too much to heart. You really developed that, didn't you? You worked on that persona. So they're going to sell Just Walk Out to an airport, others, but this is the first. Airport Hospitality Group, OTG, which operates...
Newark Airport has those,
Yeah, these little corner stores, the Cibo Express Gourmet Market.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it's going to open next week at Liberty Terminal C, if you want to try it out, Jeff. Go steal a banana. It will then be followed by additional stores both in Newark, Liberty, and LaGuardia. So I think
Newark has gotten this actually. So Newark has gotten rid of all kinds of staff
Yeah.
So now every restaurant is a fake brand. They're all run under one thing, right? But they're all act like there's all these choices, but you've never heard of any before because they don't exist.
Of course.
And
is
you
that
sit down
true?
and there's an
That
iPad in
explains
front
a
of you.
lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
And there's one
you have an
kitchen?
iPad in front of you. Well, not just one kitchen, but it's fewer kitchens. Yes, they're shared. And there's an iPad in front of you, and you order from the iPad. That's the only way you can
I
order.
hate that. It's disgusting.
yeah,
I hate touching
Yeah, I don't
those
never
things.
like that either. That's too many hands.
But then they come to you with the stuff wherever you are. And then in the stores, they also don't have a checkout. You have to do the scanner thing.
Yep.
And so they've gotten the entire airport. They have one Starbucks operating like an old Starbucks.
Yeah.
They have one Wendy's left over. Otherwise, it's all of this iPad
Fake stores. Huh.
fake food stuff and fake store thing.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess this company is the one that OTG is the one that runs this stuff. But on the other hand, I think that is a really good use of grab and go technology because you're running, you're getting a plane, you want to just get a couple
That's
of
perfect.
peanuts or whatever,
But you got to have the
You just
app
walk out.
you just walk out.
and
You don't have to have the
scan
app.
it going in.
Stop. You don't have to have the app. You have to have a credit card.
Yeah, they're going to start using, I think it's Bluetooth LE. They're going to start using a technology that will just scan it.
Yeah, because they don't want people. So they're using. It's going to be card-based technology, and I'm not sure how that will work with like airports, but they recognize that people do not want to have a bunch of different apps for each retailer.
Right.
So they've tried to tie it to a physical media, which again, don't know the details. Jeff, you do really need to go steal a banana and see how it's going to work.
I've gone in. No, I've gone on the one in New York and I bought stuff, but I had
But that
app.
uses the app, right? No,
Yeah.
but now you have to go into the.
Oh, you're telling me I have to go to Newark Airport? Not
Yes.
right now. We're
She's
not.
like,
Everyone, I have had
challenge.
Jeff,
8
go to Newark
things canceled.
Airport.
8 things canceled.
I still have an event that I'm speaking at the end of April. We'll see if
No,
that
you're not.
stays.
No, you're not.
Jeff's like, no, you're not.
With this using credit cards, they're not specifically talking NFC, right? Because
I don't know if it's credit cards or loyalty cards with like an NFC chip built in. That is not specified in anything that I've seen.
It is NFC based, though.
Okay, so
Specified.
and so now if it is NFC, I just wonder about speed and performance of that because I mean, just using the tap and go stuff right now in your regular grocery store, it's still a little bit of a hang up and a delay. You know,
What
Is it?
for me it is.
Just a bit, yeah.
What if when you? But the way this will change is you do it when you go in.
Okay, all right.
So-
before you grab your
Before you
stuff,
pick
just go ahead
anything
and
up.
tap before you walk. I got you. That
Would
makes
that
more
help?
sense. That makes more sense.
Well, it figures it out later and sends you a bill. You're not waiting
like-
for it to happen. It just because that's the story that we had on the show. Like when he tried to fool it, it took 4 hours to get the bill to him because somebody had
yeah.
to watch it.
Right. Sam's story.
I'm waiting for that story of the person in the Philippines who's watching people shop for things.
Yeah, because they got to do some type of audit, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's behind every automated system. There is a person. What percentage of transactions or videos or whatever automated system you're part of is an open question. Is it 1%? Is it 20%? But there's always going to be a person checking to make sure that computer did what they need to do.
Yeah.
QA.
Thank goodness.
Wow, Italy says all stores except pharmacies and food markets will be closed. So they need this system there.
Oh, yeah.
There are people so it is worth noting that there are still people in
Yes.
the Amazon Go
Yes.
stores.
Yes.
But yeah,
Restocking, helping, answering questions, all that.
And to continue
Checking
along
IDs to
this
get to
vein
alcohol.
of the ghost run
But,
life, we need a name for this.
the great empty.
Phantom Life.
Carson was talking about Amazon's My Soundtrack feature. Amazon, and I would bet Google ends up doing this, their music services are starting to get smarter about what they pick. Now, this is completely anecdotal.
This is
Carson,
completely anecdotal.
But Karsten says that. So, what is this My Soundtrack? This is a
Okay.
playlist.
It's basically their version of whatever Spotify. I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, there's Spotify
does.
Discover Weekly.
I'm all in on
Spotify
Madame
does
A,
a daily
so
mix.
I love that.
I've had Amazon Music for the past year.
And then so my soundtrack
you and three
is
other
there.
people, huh?
Yeah, me
is
and
the
three other
playlist. They put. I use it. I go. I'll sign up for. I'll do that. My soundtrack.
So you two and two other people.
It's good. Stop it. Everybody. You know what? It's more than you think because everybody with an Amazon Echo gets
Yeah.
a free limited version of
Right.
this, and the temptation is then, well, I might as well pay for the unlimited. And then the temptation is, oh, and by the way, you can get a 3-month trial of HD, which is uncompressed, and by that time,
And that's how Amazon
you're going
gets
to owe them
you.
$100 a month. But
That's how Amazon gets
They
you.
snuck it.
Every
Snuck it
time.
all in.
Okay,
So my soundtrack is in the Amazon Music app.
Yes, and in the last week they've launched this My Soundtrack station, and
Oh, it's a radio station,
it's a radio
not a
sta-
playlist.
It's
okay.
it's a station.
Okay.
They've had my Discovery Mix playlist.
Yeah.
For a couple months.
I've used
which
that,
is-
and I love that. And
which-
the idea is it's
which is really
based
good.
on what they know you like, what you listen
Yep.
to.
But the My Soundtrack station, the first 3 songs it played were songs that I had downloaded off of LimeWire in 2002.
That's just a coincidence.
Wow.
LimeWire was one of the pirate. It was after Napster shut. So mine is playing. I just started playing it. "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. Boy, have they got this wrong. But here's the weird thing. So your son comes home.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm at home. It's playing literally like white guy suburban rock for me. And my son comes home and it sees him in the Ring doorbell.
You think
doorbell.
it's recognized your son.
We turned off the music for a second and rebooted it. So every time it restarts, it changes genres a little bit.
Yeah.
The genre it changed to was his favorite Hamilton songs.
Interesting.
So you're thinking it knows Zach's home. And
Alex, this is Alex. This is
you
my son,
knows Alex is home,
Alexander.
and it's playing his music.
Yes. I am 100% pro this.
So we're gonna ask-
I love Madame
Yeah, what's wrong with that, right?
This
not
is
that there's anything wrong with
It's a
that.
good thing.
great use of constant
I wish it were
surveillance.
true in a way. But, it's like the TiVo recommendations, right? So we want to invite everybody in our audience to try Amazon's My Soundtrack. Make sure and tell us.
I'm going to check back with you next week.
Tell us if you have to have the service, obviously, but tell us.
I'll try it for.
Don't
for a
buy
month.
the service for that, but just see if it does weird things, and maybe it is. My experience, as I just told you, first thing I play wouldn't be Taylor Swift "Shake It Off."
I've been on Spotify for a couple months now, full time, after
I
pulling
think
everybody
they're
from
doing a pretty good
Google.
job. Let me see
Music.
what comes after Taylor. "Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham.
How much do you use Amazon Music versus the other services? Are you mostly a Spotify guy?
Never use
or-
Spotify. Because I don't have an account anymore. I use mostly Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Really? And it's still screwing up.
I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas. Grenade by Bruno Mars.
Wait, are those paid? Do you pay for this or is it free?
It's paid.
Oh, well,
It's
that
like
does-
Spotify
Yeah, mine's
or
paid too.
No. I just didn't because I have the free Prime version. I don't
Right.
have the paid
No,
version.
I think you probably have to have the paid version.
And I get a lot of crappy
It's playing
music because that's what's free.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
maybe that's because now it's playing the Backstreet Boys. I want it.
Which is an amazing song, and I will fight to the death anyone who wants to argue with me on that.
Do you
It's my
like-
go-to
Oh,
karaoke.
my.
Oh, wait
I'm
a
going to
minute.
find someone to argue
I
with
know
because
what
I want to see the
happened.
fight.
This is your music, Stacy.
Yeah.
Oh, that totally fits. Shake It Off,
Sugar,
please.
Maroon 5. You like that?
Oh no, I hate Maroon 5.
Firework by Katy Perry.
She
My daughter does love that song.
Footloose?
She plays whatever music the nearest two people are to her life.
Jolene by Dolly Parton.
That is an excellent
That's
song.
a classic.
I knew she'd like it.
Jolene.
That's a classic.
Alan Sherman, Hello Mutta, Hello Fada.
I don't know about
What
that.
the hell?
Oh, we're old enough to know that one.
Hello Mutta.
Stacey's not.
Hello
Hello,
Fada.
Oh, my mom used to sing that.
Here
It's a-
I
it's
am
a-
at
Camp
Camp Granada.
Swimming school here. Something.
Now this is depressing.
blah, blah.
Stacy knows the song better than you and I do, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's because my mom used to sing it to me. For some reason.
Anyway. Okay, just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It would be good. It would really be good. I've always wanted, it should my Hello doorbell should see me coming in and should start playing my theme song.
I dig that.
I think that would be good.
It should be playing trumpets for you.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of trumpets, it's time for the Google changelog.
The Google changelog.
They got rid of those cigarettes fast. We mentioned this before, but I'll do it in a little more detail. Google is expanding Hangout Meets to help businesses and schools stay connected in response to closings because of COVID-19. You're going to get the features that normally are only available to paid G Suite users, larger meetings up to 250 participants per call, live streaming for up to 100,000 viewers within a domain. So you'll all have to be working together or schooling together. The ability to record meetings and save them to Google Drive.
Which is a big deal because our account before didn't allow that.
Yeah.
This does.
This is Enterprise Edition of G Suite or G Suite Enterprise for Education features. No cost through July 1st.
And I'll bet they'll extend it.
Yeah.
Although that's pretty much the end of the school year for a lot of
maybe that's
schools. Speaking of which, while we're on that for a second, so I haven't used Zoom in the last 2 weeks. I'm told some people say that they're having a little trouble keeping up. Blue Jeans I like too. I don't have an account there. No, okay. Well, that's why I'm asking.
Why don't you like Blue Jean? What? Wow, that was a sound I've never heard come out of you, Stacy.
I have an amazing repertoire of sounds.
Wow.
Blue Jean. So Zoom is my absolute favorite because it's one click from your phone, and it's got a good mobile and a good web-based interface.
And it can do breakout groups, I'm told.
Why do you hate that Blue Jeans has Dolby voice?
I don't care. It's not as easy to join from a mobile.
Okay.
And that's what I don't like.
The reason Blue Jeans, the reason I've had to use Blue Jeans is because I've had to have meetings with Facebook people, and they're not allowed to use Hangouts because it's Google.
Oh, and they can't use Hangouts.
Oh, of course.
We use Zoom because it's part of, we have it free from our phone. Ring Central it's a white label Zoom. And then I think we also we have a Zoom account through Artisanal, our ad agency. So we use Zoom. But I don't know. I mean, we're using Skype now. We use Skype a lot for broadcast.
Yeah, but Skype for Business is not awesome.
Not
and
good.
Can I just say, Microsoft Teams, just no one should send people who are outside of your organization Teams invites because Microsoft makes you sign in to use it.
No.
You can't just be a guest. And
That's
I'm like,
not good.
Yeah.
Never.
Nope.
That's true.
I don't like any of those services if they make you become a member. That's no good.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's a non-starter.
Now, I like Zoom better, but it did try to make me install something.
Oh, you have to install
Yeah,
something.
you have to install. Yeah, you have to
Or was
install
it the
the
Blue
app.
Jeans?
I think all of these make you install an app because
Yeah.
they can't just do it magically.
Blue Jeans,
One of
Zoom,
them runs in the
WebEx.
browser, though, right?
Yeah, WebRTC would, but most of these don't use WebRTC.
Oh, okay.
I think Hangouts might.
Hangouts will run in a browser.
Yeah.
Seems
Is
like another one ran in
Zipdiddle
the
still
browser.
running?
Who?
What is it called?
Zipdiddle?
Ipdiddle.
Oh, Ipdiddle. Oh, yeah, IPDTL. We've used that.
I know that one.
We
And
haven't
there's
used that in a
Jitsi.
while.
We don't use that in a while. There's a lot of, we've got to try some of these other services. We're kind of fuddy-duddies. I'm a fuddy-duddy. Skype works. We've used
Yeah, you
Skype
are.
since 2005. I'm just going to
It
keep
works.
using it.
It works, yeah.
We get pretty good results from it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Skype is really still the best for any audio recording or podcast. Like Zoom will let you record, but it won't let you export split tracks, for example. So you're like, I hate you.
There is Sam Abul-Samed, who does the Wheel Bearings podcast, uses a technology that automatically it does a double ender, which is cool.
What does that mean?
You get
It's a
local
double ender.
recording. You get local recordings with each of the hosts. You're all in a conference call,
right.
but then they locally record it. That way, you get full quality.
Love that. Who does that again?
Sam uses it for wheel bearings. Let me see. He told me over the weekend.
I
what the name of it
get
was.
asked for that for radio interviews all the time, especially the
I
BBC.
used to have one of those, but the downside was you can't close that browser window until it's done processing.
Yeah. Is it Cast?
Yes, it's something cast.
Cast? I think it was just
You're
called
right.
Cast.
Zipcast. Was it Zipcast? Let's see.
I can't remember. No.
Nope.
That's anybody in the chat remember what Sam said? Anyway, it looked pretty good. He says it works really well. Of course, the reason we use Skype is because we don't want to do double enders, and the codec in Skype gives us good sound. And so I'm very happy with kind of the generically good sound that we get when we don't tend to get that with other conferencing things. But if you could do a double ender, the reason we don't do that is there adds additional time between the time the show's over and the time we can post it. We like to do it as quickly as possible. But it seemed like a good thing. It does individual tracks for every host. It's a simple web login, so you click a link and you're in it. So there's a lot.
I have used this on multiple occasions. It's driving me nuts.
I can't think. I thought it was just called Cast, but I guess that's not it. Because someone else had me as a guest on one of their shows, and that's what they used.
Zencast.
Zencast, that's it.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, that's not ideal. And I tried it for a couple shows. It was a little wonky. It broke.
That's the one.
CASTR.
Yeah, that's it. Zencaster.
Zencaster, high fidelity podcasting. So you didn't like this?
No, because it doesn't always work. The other thing is, if you have certain settings on your browser, your users are going to get an error, and they're going to be like, "Oh, you need to turn off this." So when it works, it's nice. And for actually this show, it could be good because we could all, like, for your regular hosts, we would all put the effort in to make sure everything is set up correctly.
Oh, I'll screw that up.
And honestly, I'll tell you what, we'll put this in our back pocket. If we start having trouble with Skype, we will. But it works so well at this point.
Does it work on a Chromebook?
Zencaster? It says it works in the web.
It's browser-based, so sure.
Okay.
Well, that's
now he's in. Now he's
agitating.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Well, now that Skype actually does work on my Chromebook, it's okay. But I suffered all those years of using Ipdiddle, and
I see.
we used something else too for a while.
Google Lens. Remember they were talking about this at Google I/O last year. Apparently now it is in Lens. When you're dining out, you point your camera at a physical menu, and you will get dish recommendations and reviews, and even pictures of the text-based entries in Google Maps.
I dig it.
That's cool.
I dig it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Point it at the menu, and then it'll show you what they look like. It'll even give you reviews.
Because it's always begging the local guys to take pictures of their food and describe what it is.
This is finally using the poop umbrella for good, not
implementation,
evil.
baby.
So this is, there's a little button in Lens that says Explore Dishes. If you point it at a menu, you'll get a pop-up that tells you stuff about the menu and then also shows pictures and gives you reviews. I think that's clever. Thank you.
The downside is most people, when they take pictures of their food, it's not very attractive. So you're going to get a lot of like
ugly food.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can.
Ugly food. This is for you, Stacy. Google launches TensorFlow Quantum, machine learning framework for training quantum models.
Now they're just throwing buzzwords at stuff. Just stop it.
Who's selling? Somebody, IBM or somebody is selling a quantum computer. Honeywell. Honeywell. Can you imagine that?
Jeez, it's still alive? I thought they made flashlights being advertised on late night TV.
Thermostats.
HVAC.
So Honeywell split their business into two business. One, the the thermostats that normal people know, that's actually under a brand called Residio. They still, the company is Residio, and that was spun out, all their consumer home stuff. They also make jet airplane engines. They make apparently a quantum computer. They make oil and gas processing equipment. It's actually a very huge industrial conglomerate.
Our quantum technology enables high-quality qubits. What's a qubit? Noah?
Noah. Oh, boy, you know that one.
What's a qubit?
It's the bit.
We're not doing quantum jokes anymore.
No. We shouldn't quote him anymore.
Oh, man. Really? Is it that bad? Is he like...
Yeah.
20?
Yes. Yeah. He was canceled.
He was canceled.
Yeah, he's canceled.
All Cosby jokes.
Sexually assaulted more than 40 women. Canceled. That's right. My dog.
So I can't say, Lord, what's a qubit anymore.
So these folks, they make jet engines as well? Is that what you said, Ms. Stacy?
I believe they're in the jet engine. They also make industrial HVAC stuff. They make lots of stuff.
What's wild is that they're making quantum computers. I didn't even... It blows my mind. Like you could go out and buy one. Should we get one?
Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
It'd probably help us do Skype better.
In
Google
one click.
is giving away, get it now, 3 months of Stadia. If you have a Chromecast, you don't have to buy anything else. You're going to get 3 months of Stadia on any supported. It's actually, I guess they're sending it out in their Chromecast marketing email. So look for your email and you can get a ProPass code and redeem it. Normally it's $10 a month. And in the past, you've had to buy a lot of other stuff. So look for promotional emails from Google. It's a ploy to get you to read their spam.
Please.
Please read our spam. We're giving away 3 months of Stadia. Okay, another one for you, Stacy. You know what Jacquard is, Google's wearables, right? We've seen a Jacquard jacket. I didn't know this. They're also making a new Jacquard-based shoe insole. And this is meant to be worn in soccer shoes so they can analyze your kick.
Well, so it's meant to be worn in soccer shoes, and they did a deal with EA. So your mobile FIFA, is it FIFA or FIFA? Help me out here.
FIFA.
Okay, thank y'all. Your mobile FIFA game, when you do soccer activities in the real world, that will translate over to training and whatnot into your digital games, which is super fun.
So it's more for gaming. I thought it was more for training players.
No, it's for gaming. And what's great is this is only $40. And Jacquard, the technology is just sensor-infused fabric with a little computing unit that takes the data from those sensors and computes it and sends it to your phone. But we had seen in the Levi's jacket, the trucker jacket was actually kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And the Yves Saint Laurent backpack was super expensive.
Crazy.
So this is only $40 for an insole, which is a great price that people might buy. I don't know. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is a really awesome use of technology. And at that price, you could see something, the basics are there to stick an insole into someone's shoe. If you're like elderly or something like that, you could do like gait and fall measurements that might be interesting from health and wellness. There's some really cool stuff here.
So what's the real reason they're doing this? What data are they getting? They're getting gait analysis, aren't they? They want to be.
Well, I assume, they're getting an understanding of how someone's. They had to build the algorithms to see, like, when I press this way on the insole, I am running. When I press this way, I'm kicking.
Right.
So they're getting that kind of data. That'll come in handy for things that are not gameplay, but it's good to start there, I guess. The nice thing about games is when you're running and kicking, those are very exaggerated big movements as opposed to like walking around all day. So maybe that helps you train your models better because the data is so exaggerated in the first place. I don't know.
Google marks International Women's Day and Women's Month. They had a 3D mandala doodle on Sunday.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of sad because International Women's Day was only 23 hours.
Somebody said that on Twitter, and I was like, damn. Irony.
1st February, and now this. And then I think they're, oh, look at that. Wow. That is kind of cool. That's all cool.
It's not binders full of women. It's a mandala full of women.
Yay. And then you can ask the Google Assistant, hey, Google, tell me about an inspiring woman. It's going to do it.
At a time that Kenyan girls were not expected to attend secondary school, Kekenya Entai fought to continue her studies. She attended university.
So that was Issa Rae saying that too, which is kind of cool. So you can ask a bunch of different things to celebrate Women's Month. You could say, hey, Google, happy International Women's Day. Hey, Google.
It's a wonderful day to...
Oops.
Stop interrupting
celebrate
her.
amazing
The neighborhood?
women. As usual with women, I interrupt. Hey, Google, tell me quotes from inspiring women. See. Now she says I'm mansplaining.
You have mine talking over here.
Hey, Google, tell me quotes from inspiring women. She's mad at me.
Mine just said, because it heard you, success is only meaningful and enjoyable if it feels like your own. That's a quote from Miss Michelle Obama.
I think that's true.
Oh,
I don't want anybody else's success. I want my own.
just like a man.
Just like a man.
And we missed it. Shoot. Holi was Monday and Tuesday. That is the Hindu Festival of Color celebration. You've seen the Holi pictures of people sprayed with color. Google was letting you do that at their search results. Shoot. Let me just see if I can do it, because it'd be fun if I could do it. You search for Holi, google.com. I'm going to search for Holi, and then see if I can throw... No, I guess it's over now. I can't throw anything at it, but you were able to throw little color bombs at it, which is kind of cool. That's my favorite festival. What a great idea.
That's weird because the Bay Area isn't celebrating it until the 28th.
Oh, why are we celebrating it late?
I don't know.
No idea.
Coronavirus?
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do it right.
Did you misspell holy?
No, you tap there's an Easter egg. You have to tap the search results. So ready? Get ready. So there's the bowl of spices. Whoa! Oh, it's a
all over the
mess. That's so fun.
It's a happy mess.
It's so fun.
Somebody's
I always I see people covered in these colors and I worry. Like, are they going to get lung disease from this?
No, it's so much fun.
It's
I
okay.
do it with my my brother's girlfriend.
What is in the what is the color bombs made of?
Cadmium.
I do not know.
Great. It's mostly not radioactive. What is it made of?
Chalk? I don't know.
Yeah,
Chalk.
It's all good.
Cornstarch. Cornstarch would be okay until it rains. Click. There we go. That's fun. Okay, so that's still in effect. Search for Holi on Google, and then in the knowledge graph, click the little bowls of spice or color, and you too can do this. And then if you want to clear it, you click the little raindrop. It rains and it starts all over.
Cleans it up. Pretty
Isn't
cool.
that fun? And that's your Google changelog. So Carson, you tried Visible?
I tried Visible.
This is a Verizon's new service that doesn't require...
Well, the news is that today there's a new Yahoo branded MVNO.
How
so
to feel like a
Verizon's
dork.
Yahoo?
Verizon's new MVNO is
Works
Yahoo.
only with trios.
It's got to be for old people, right?
They got to do something with the brand. I don't know.
Why is Verizon launching all these MVNOs?
Because they are widely renowned as the most expensive way to get
So here's a way to get something.
They have the infrastructure.
I tried their Visible MVNO, and I had a very, very miserable experience.
It was inexpensive.
It was cheap, but I lost data like the third day I was there. And their customer service is only via text.
Oh, boy.
Takes about 4 hours to get anything done.
This is why you stick with Mint Mobile.
Yeah, it was...
Our sponsor.
It was not.
So Yahoo Mobile is a new Verizon MVNO no one asked for, according to Android Central. Visible is unlimited talks, data, and text for $40, which is definitely a good price if it works. But apparently Karsten says it ain't very good. And now you can do the same thing, probably the same exact thing, with a different name called Yahoo Mobile. No data caps, but mobile hotspot speeds will be capped at 5 megabits. Data speeds may be temporarily slower in times of traffic. You'll get Yahoo Mail Pro with 1 terabyte of cloud storage.
Ooh, Yahoo Mail Pro.
Ooh, it's the best Yahoo Mail ever. It's the best Yahoo Mail we've ever offered. That's a safe thing to say, yeah. You can either buy a new phone through the new MVO or bring your MVNO, which stands for Mobile Virtual Network Operator, or bring your own phone. There you have it. Free ad for you, Verizon. This sad story of Yahoo is just getting sadder and sadder and sadder.
Does Katie Couric and David Pogue, do they still work there?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Scooter X just posted in the chat.
No, they don't.
California won't appeal the T-Mobile Sprint case.
That's it
allowing the
then.
merger to proceed.
That's it. It's over.
Thanks for sharing.
Our long national nightmare is over. T-Mobile and Sprint bringing you the worst of both worlds.
Without the colorful president, right? Doesn't he leave?
Yeah, John
What's his name?
Ledger
John
leaving.
Leger? How do you say his name?
I say Ledger just because I'm lazy.
Leger.
How do you say it, Stacey? You say it right.
I thought it was Leger, but
Leger.
It's very French if you say it that way.
I don't actually know. I can't remember.
I did neglect to mention that John Legend's voice is leaving Google Assistant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that was going to be in the Chrome log or Chrome.
Well,
log.
it's a change log. I guess it could be. It's a
Chrome
change.
log.
It's a change
It's
log.
not something coming to your phone.
You
It's
could
something
change the name
leaving.
of it, the Chrome log.
It's
I'd like
leaving.
that.
The Chrome Changeler.
It's changing though.
It is
a
changing.
change.
It is changed. So I should have put that in the change log. I apologize. Yeah. Let's do picks of the week. I'm going to show Stacy something that's going to cheer her up. Stacy has many times now convinced me to buy horrifically overpriced kitchen appliances.
Oh,
The
okay. I
look on
can't.
her face.
I was like, I'm like.
This
I'm like,
time I
that's
did
real.
it without your help.
What'd you buy?
A Thermomix.
Oh my god! I want that so badly.
I knew you would. It's the size of a small robot on your counter.
I am so jealous.
It's so bizarre. I haven't cooked anything with it, but I did set it up. It has downloadable internet recipes. And by the way, they look great. It has a variety of weird. It looks kind of like this base. By the way, $1,500.
Yeah, that's why I don't
Lord,
have
you're a
one.
chump.
I am
You are
such
such
a
a
chump.
chump.
This is legit, y'all. They have had this in Europe for a long time.
Yeah, I read
There
a
are-
really good review on Wired, and that's why I suckered.
Oh
into
yeah,
this.
I know the guy who wrote that, and it cooks. Okay, you stick your stuff in it. Like if
It does it all for you.
It like chops it. So you like chop an onion into like 4 quarters, and you're
Yeah,
like hookunk, and then it's like in a minute it's like okay, now throw in a clove of garlic, and
Yeah.
you're like hookunk,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it's
Do
amazing.
that sound again. Please do that sound again.
She's really good. I
want this.
underestimated. So come over to my place now that
No,
you're
when you
homeless.
get bored, send it to me.
Okay. It basically
You
is
will
like
Stacy's
a
at home,
blender. It's like
unable to go anywhere.
a metal blender
bored to tears.
base, but then there's all these attachments you put on top of it. It makes bread. It steams rice. It makes soup.
Okay, that gets a little weird, but basically, okay, yeah.
It makes these candy bars.
Yeah, don't worry.
So
about
it caramelizes, it sous vides, it ferments, it self-cleans, it rice cookers.
Mince?
So when are you going to do your hands-on tech?
I don't know. You can make yogurt and kimchi in it with the fermentation function. And all of these recipes are online, and you download them into the computer in the base. I know, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. It must have been, I guess without Instagram now, I got to find some other way to waste my money.
No. This is a legit life. I mean, it is expensive, but this is something that would actually, you will cook more often.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
I wanted to make more
really does.
soup.
Like I have sat through so many because I go to the smart kitchen thing
Look
every
how
year.
big that thing is.
I'm just looking at Mr. Jarvis's face on the screen.
And its
He's
cookbook
just-
is weirdly named Cookie Dough. So
Yeah, that's new. So they added the cookie dough recipe thing. It
Yeah.
used to just be, and it's actually based on an Android tablet.
So you put it on your Wi-Fi, so it can invite all its friends to come visit, and then
And it does sous vide. It has the food processor in it.
yeah,
It's so much.
It's like a
so
blender,
much.
food processor, Instapot, soup,
Wow.
everything. It's everything,
Well, so it is a bunch of devices in one,
which I already have.
Yes.
which makes sense for it
Yeah.
costing this much.
I
Because
wanna-
if you bought all of those devices,
Yeah.
it's going to be about that
It's
much.
for
I guess,
crazy
right?
people. It's not for normal people. That's for sure.
I want it.
I knew
And
you
I'm not
would. That's why I bought it. I just want to make you jealous.
Start.
Why didn't you just send it to me? I would have done a full show.
I
Give
think
it to me
Karsten
when you're
wants one.
done.
Everybody wants
Give it to me when you're
Karsten,
done with
did
it.
you know about this?
No, I didn't.
Tell Karsten. So tell Karsten that if he wants it, he has to get more excited than I just did.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Okay.
That's
Go
pretty
for it,
tough.
Karsten.
Nope. It's all yours, Stacey.
Twirl his tie.
I can't even do it.
People say, like somebody in the chat room, it's basically an advanced pressure cooker. No. That's the Instapot. This is
Right.
like a whole bunch of things in one very odd French package.
How much did that weigh?
It's heavy. It's big.
that's what I'm-
I kind of, you can't tell from the website, but it's the size of R2-D2. It's
Yeah.
like, it takes up a lot of space on the counter.
All right.
But I think, I haven't made anything yet because I'm a little intimidated. One of the things that happens when you order it, they said, okay, now set up your one-on-one with they do a Zoom conference with you.
Wow.
One-on-one to show you how to use it. But I think I can figure it out. Yeah, but I mean, you can.
Famous last words.
The idea is you
I think
put
I
all the
can figure it
ingredients in
out.
it, and then you come home and it's done. It's like a little sous
Do the
chef.
one-on-one, Leo, because I sat through the
Okay.
cooking classes, and they actually will help you
Understand
prepare
it.
better food.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Trust me.
It looks really interesting.
Oh my God, this is so wasted on you.
You'll go all Leo on it. So wasted.
It's so wasted on you. I'll tell you what, if you'll take the giant ham off my hands.
I don't eat ham. I'm sorry.
I know. Stacey, what's your pick of the week this week?
I'm just demoralized, man. I'm like, oh.
She's so jealous.
Okay, so last week I showed you the helium hotspot. Where did my phone go? Okay,
Yeah,
the
it had
helium
big news.
hotspot, and I tested it. Or it was a shared hotspot, and the news that I was alluding to was that now it supports LoRa radios. So now you can have any LoRa device will talk to your helium hotspot, which is pretty cool. But the other thing I'm running, because I'm doing this experiment with things that generate money for network services, is basically the experiment. I downloaded something called Nodal Cash onto my phone. And Nodal Cash is an app, Nodle, and it basically makes my Bluetooth accessible to other devices that need Bluetooth access. So it uses my phone's Bluetooth as a way to say like where something is. So Lime bikes are using Nodal. If you've got a Lime bike near you, it's going to be like, ba-boom. It's going to use my phone to say, hey, to ping it and be like, I'm here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Tile. But this gives me a token. So now I have earned a whopping 0.0014209 Nodal Cash so far. I was doing much better when I was in Seattle.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Island.
you don't live near enough people to make this useful, do you?
Well, no, but I travel a lot.
Yeah, because it's a mesh hotspot, the helium.
Yes. Well,
so it really
helium
makes sense if there's other helium
these
owners
are two
near
things.
you.
So
Nodal's
helium
different.
is last week.
Oh.
Helium was last week's thing. And
Nodal
I just
doesn't
wanted to,
use helium?
Nodal does not use helium. It's a separate thing.
Oh,
it's a separate.
Nodal is a low power network for IoT.
Right. It's Bluetooth based. Helium is now LoRa based.
But
same
helium
concept.
has its own cryptocurrency.
It does. It has helium something network.
You're going to have so many cryptocurrencies. Okay, so
yeah.
You turn on the Nodal and you're earning Nodal Cash?
I'm earning noodles because my phone is it's basically like if Tile paid you in noodles.
Why do they pay you?
They want to incent me to use it. They want to incent me to become part of their public Bluetooth network. That's why they're paying anyone. It's like phone.
But they provide a service
to
everybody who
companies.
who uses that network. Okay. So they're giving you back a little of the money they make.
Yeah, basically. It's an incentive.
Good.
So there you go.
Nodal.io. Nodle, not Nodal. Nodle.io. Interesting. I feel like I live in the past and you live in the future, Stacey.
You have a Thermomix and I don't.
Not to say that. I beg to differ, sir.
I live in some weird alternate universe. Jeff, do you have any numbers left?
So yeah, I do. Can you play like 15 seconds of a YouTube video?
Carson?
No.
Yes, we're demonetized anyways because we're talking about the coronavirus.
All right, so I said it earlier. It's still in the chat. The Italian guy.
Yeah. The past, I'll do it. What's happening? This is this wasn't so much panic when the World War II started. Oh my God! Go back to it again.
So Italian man pissed off.
Show at the beginning though. We didn't see the beginning where they. Oh, we did see the beginning. The pasta shelves are empty. That's socialism for you right there.
Oh, my pasta shelves are empty in
I love
Seattle.
Italians.
Oh yeah. So I asked some people today what was going to be next because my wife went to Costco and there was a line outside. They had open early. People were crazed. They were grabbing things like crazy. It's just continues. So I wondered what things. So Nielsen, it so happens, has data on the pandemic pantry. And the biggest dollar growth, 305.5%. You want to guess, anybody?
Beans. Oh, no. Air
Nope.
air sanitizer.
Nope.
Toilet paper.
Really? Rice?
Oat milk.
Oh, yes. My
Up
favorite
300%.
milk. I love oat
Because
milk.
it will stay on the shelf.
Shelf stable.
Oat milk is shelf stable? Even after you open it?
Well, I don't know if you have to
think
open it, but you can
shelf-stable
keep it for
after
a
you
while
open
until you open it.
So it's aseptic packaging, but a lot of things are shelf stable with aseptic packaging.
So fruit snacks are up 12%. Pet medicine is up 11%. Dried beans, there you go, Stacey, 10%. Energy beverages, so you're going to be really anxious sitting at home and doing nothing.
Clearly.
10%. Bath and shower wipes, probably because all the alcohol is gone and all the hand sanitizer is gone. 9.5%. Pretzels, because when the world's falling apart, you better have some pretzels.
And beer.
9%. Supplements, 7.8%. First aid kit, 6.2%. And water, which makes 0 sense.
There's going to be plenty of
5%.
water
You have a
still
tap
coming out
in
of the
this country.
tap. Yeah. People are preparing for an earthquake. You know what the good news is? We'll be prepared for a natural disaster.
Yeah.
So that's not so bad.
But let me give you this moment since I'm on. So I went back to the non-monetizable topic. Sam Garaci, Geraci on Twitter, the winning tweet of the day. The World Health Organization announced that dogs cannot get COVID-19. Dogs can be released from quarantine. I guess you could say that who let the dogs out?
Oh, I saw that just a minute ago. Yes, I laughed.
Oh, dad
I hate you
jokes.
so much.
I appreciated it.
So I combined the angry Italian man and the
bad
numbers
pun.
and the dog joke. There, Karsten, I did your friggin' numbers.
Thank you. If you want, Jeff, I will take over numbers. You don't have to ever do numbers again.
No, I'll do the numbers. I take the challenge.
The,
because
the words are good too.
Numbers are everywhere. It can't be that bad, is it?
I did go looking for a new German word today, but it's hard to beat Hamsterverkauf.
Oh, okay. So
words
Carson
are pretty
keeps
cool.
saying that word. This must have been
Hamsterkauf.
from last week.
It's
It was from last week.
Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out why
It's
you
like
kept
a
saying
hamster.
Hamster
Verkauf
head.
means to buy.
Hamster head.
And hamster is like filling up your cheeks with stuff.
Yes.
So it's
You got it.
hoarding. It's German for hoarding.
German hoarding is hamster cow. I think the
Hamsterverkauf.
German word of the week would be a great Jeff Jarvis segment.
I think so.
Or the German
I'll go with next week.
portmanteau of the week. Mr. Ant, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
What do you want to celebrate today?
I can't remember if I told you all about this particular uncle or not. Maybe I told you off air.
You got a big family.
No, well, yeah, I do.
Is it the
It's the
principal
new feature.
uncle?
Ant's uncle of the week. Hey, I like that. Ant's uncle.
I have an uncle, Mac. He is my great uncle, my grandfather's brother. He's a blues artist. And,
Look at him playing the gas can banjo.
And if you look at
That's
this
awesome.
image, that is a gas can that's turned into a guitar. It has pickups on it and it's got a neck. That's actually one of his quote unquote newer models. The original model had just the gas can and some bar stool legs as part of the neck
That is the greatest.
and some wire because it had some chicken wire. My grandfather knew that his brother liked to play the guitar when they were kids. So they figured out, well, I'll go out and try to find something to help put a little guitar together. So my grandfather decided to get the gas can, the legs from a bar stool, and found some chicken wire and wrapped it up. And they pretty much learned how to make music that way back then. And my uncle took it to heart and just continued to run with that gift of his and turned it into a career. He's still touring to this day.
Oh my God! Do we have any of his music?
He's 70-something years old. I can't remember how old Uncle Mac is, but he's 70-something.
He's
years
in the
old.
Alabama Blues Hall of Fame.
He
oh my gosh!
toured and played with Muddy Waters in Chicago back in the days. So he was pretty daggum good, and he's still. Like I said, he's still out there getting it done and touring just whenever he feels like it.
Let's hear a little bit of Mac Arnold and the Plate Full of Blues.
Plate Full of Blues. That's his band.
Can you turn that up a little bit there, or is it?
And it's all blues.
Is it me that needs to turn it up? Oh, it's coming out of the wrong hole.
Wait, what?
How many times have I said that?
No.
We'll retake that.
Let me fix that here.
I can hear it on your...
Yeah, coming out of the speakers. That's the wrong hole.
but it's not going out of there. There it is. Now I hear it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Really?
That's actually not him. Let me get
No,
some...
that's not him.
Let me get
Go
some
to that
guitar.
one down there.
Here's some... Oh, man, that guitar sounds good.
He can play it. I think they just got him overpowered again.
You know when I'm in your town, by my style in the countryside, South Paul with a southern draw. When I see a hot
Son of a sharecropper, 13 children, which means you have even more uncles.
Oh, man, yeah. Man, yeah.
And he can play a mean gas can guitar.
in my hand, if you like.
The story with, I wish I could have found the interview. There was a radio station that interviewed him and my grandfather, and my grandfather told the story a lot better, because it was, they lived it.
He's in Wikipedia, so that's pretty good. Wow.
But I was like,
Uncle
did I tell
Mac.
him about Uncle Mac?
Never told him. I don't remember.
I told you about my other Uncle Mac, the first principal.
Yeah, the principal.
Yeah.
This is a new Uncle Mac.
Yeah, this is my other uncle.
How many uncles do you have, man?
I couldn't tell you.
Good. I don't want him to run out.
Well,
I
Uncle
wanna keep
Mac,
going
this
with
Uncle
Aunt's
Mac
uncle.
has 12 siblings.
Yeah.
You got a few aunts and uncles.
Good.
Listen to that. That's coming out of a gas can guitar.
Guitar.
That's on fire.
Yeah.
That's
And like I said, that's his newer one. His other one still has the bar stool legs on it for the neck.
He can really pick that thing.
Jeez.
Oh man, I love this. What a discovery. If we get taken off YouTube for this, it was worth it. Ant Pruitt, catch him on Hands-On Photography.
Yes.
Oh, should we mention the new show?
No,
Is it
not
not
yet.
yet time?
No, not yet.
Not time yet.
Yeah, just stay tuned. We've been working on something. A lot of fun.
Great
But
new show
definitely check
coming
out
up.
Hop.
Yep.
A lot of
Yep.
fun on Hop.
And great to have you. And we saw you on All About Android last night. Is that a regular gig? You're going to be on there?
Right now, I'm filling in for Miss Florence Ion, who's on maternity
She had a
leave.
little baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations,
Yeah.
Flo.
She had a little Mona. I
Little
believe that's
baby
her
Mona.
name.
Yep.
And so I've been
Little
filling in
human
for her and
being.
hanging with Mr. Jason Howell and just talking to Android and having a lot of fun.
Yep. Stacey Higginbotham, she has to eat. No.
Oh, no,
No, she had her lunch.
I'm just
She just needs to
teasing
jump
her.
around somewhere. That's what she needs to
We
do.
think Stacey's the best thing since the Thermomix.
That's high
And
praise.
the bread, does it slice the bread too?
No.
Is it the best thing is the Thermomix sliced bread?
I am getting
There might be a bread
slicer
slicing
later.
attachment.
Also known as a ninja. Is that what you're
Ninja.
doing? You're going to hire a ninja to slice your bread?
Stacey is the host of the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. Also, you get her newsletter at stacyoniot.com. She is really an expert on Internet of Things devices.
That's right.
As well as just wild, crazy stuff like that, helium and the nodal. I tell you what, you want to stay on top of what's happening. stacyoniot.com.
Is it?
She has some great interviews on her show, too. Your guests that you get on there, your interviews are...
Tomorrow's guest is, okay, I have to tell you this because it's the writer of like my favorite newsletter, and I think your audience is going to love this. So the newsletter is called The Prepared. It's theprepared.org.
Preppers.
Well, it's not. It's actually manufacturing. It's manufacturing or anything related to physical hardware. And the newsletter's great. They do like videos of like how crayons are made or like
Oh, I love that.
filing, new ways to file metal shaving. Anyway, so he's coming on and he's going to be talking about the impact of COVID-19 on the supply chain for devices. So it's going to be a fun interview. Sorry, I'm really excited about it.
Big impact.
Because I love this dude. He's I love the newsletter. I love, everything about it's awesome. Okay, that's all.
This just in, the Red Hat Summit and Enterprise Connect has been canceled. I think you can assume most conferences will be canceled.
Pretty much.
In the next few months.
Well, yeah, there was one last week called NICAR, which is investigative data journalists.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been to one of those.
Well, glad they didn't go this year because they had it in New Orleans 1 week ago. And guess what? Somebody is a suspected case, and now people are being, four of my colleagues were there. They're being quarantined.
Jeff, I'm already
conferences
under
right now. Yeah, you are.
She's like every day.
Actually, I like to, when we talk about this, go to isitcancelladyet.com just to check the latest list of cancellations. They have yes, maybe, no, and uh-oh. And it looks like 2020, if you scroll up, is uh-oh. E3, yes. The Houston Rodeo, yes. The Las Vegas Casino Buffets, yes. Pope Francis public appearance. The rallies for Bernie and Biden last night, Google I.O., South by Southwest, the Minecraft Festival. You know, the best news, though, Coachella has been postponed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarvis, professor of journalism at CUNY. He'll be working from the home for the foreseeable future.
Here's my classroom.
Actually, I think that's, honestly, I wonder if there might be a long-term benefit we get out of this, that there maybe we're going to discover new ways to work at home, new ways to teach at home. This might not be such a bad thing.
Well, there was also a story from somewhere I put up on the rundown that people are dressing the sets for their video conference background.
Are you going to do
course.
that?
That's
Well, it already is. This is actually just a green
Yours
screen.
is so
behind
dressed. Yes, yours
Yeah,
is
you're
I should
good to
dress
go.
mine.
Very much looks like a professor lives there. I just
Now you see, it's just green screen. It's actually the basement. Yeah, no, there's cans of beans, lots of cans of beans now on the shelves behind me.
beans is good. Beans is good stuff. I just get the dried beans. You can get a lot more out of that, and they'll last a long
you
time.
need
You can put them in your little machine.
Yes.
And God knows, bean soup could come out.
I could have beer.
No, he'll put beans in that machine and steak's going to come out if it costs $1,500.
Better.
Jeez.
Coronavirus.
No, he will put the onion. He won't have to chop it. He'll put garlic. Won't have to chop it. His spices, tomatoes,
What
whatever.
sound does it make when it goes in, Stacey?
I don't know what sound.
I love that sound you made. I want you to make that sound again.
What noise did I make?
She don't even remember.
Oh, that.
We need to do a whole Stacey. What do you call that thing when you have the keyboard? You have different sounds.
Stacey soundboard.
We need a Stacey soundboard. We definitely need a Stacey.
Can we get to work on that? I think Kevin's going to work on that for us. Stacey.
Kevin gives the nod.
Jeff, stay healthy, please. Okay,
You too.
Stay
You too,
inside. I
boss.
will too. We're going to take care of
Be safe.
ourselves. Wash our hands.
Eat some ham.
Ants impervious to all.
Pretty
Is it
much.
impermeable or impervious? Impervious to all.
Yeah, we argued before.
Yeah, no, it's impervious.
impervious.
Yeah. He will be healthy no matter. You'll last long beyond our years.
And I have
Him and
pie.
his pie.
I was about to say, and enjoy your pie, Aunt.
Happy birthday, Aunt.
Yes.
We do Twig every Wednesday afternoon at 20:30 UTC. That's 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. You can come by and say hi. Watch the show at twit.tv/live. There's audio and video there. And if you're streaming, then you should be chatting at irc.twit.tv. After the fact, twit.tv/twig. We've got all the shows for download there. Best thing to do is subscribe in your favorite podcast application. We're on all of them, and if you subscribe, you'll get the show automatically the minute it's available. You too, folks. You stay healthy. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, your family, and because we want you back here next week for This Week in Google.